Alrighty, well, welcome to this week's Ask Us Anything Zoom session. As usual, it's been a really busy week, unsurprisingly so. In no particular order, we've got some news. The first item, which is probably of interest to us aspiring Model Y owners, is that Tesla is set to use LG Chem's 90% NCMA cathode for the Shanghai-built Model Ys, and that's starting in July. So that's sort of pretty exciting. It's a bit of it's a new vendor for Tesla, and it's a new chemistry that apparently is also going to be used by General Motors for their Hummer. So basically, the NCMA is a nickel, cobalt, manganese, aluminium battery chemistry. So that's sort of a welcome development. It means that Tesla is broadening their reach as far as battery manufacturers, getting in fresh cells, and it should bode fairly well for the performance of the Model Y. Let's just hope that it soon gets released to Australia. Speaking of other cars that people want to go to other places, it looks like Tesla is rumored to have Model 3s on the ground in India for testing. And this is ahead of a possible sales opening by the end of the year, which again, I mean, India is a massive market. No one really knows where those cars will come from, but presumably it'll be Shanghai. And hopefully, you know, one day they'll bring a local manufacturing plant to India, which is basically the second most populous country in the world. We got some new info about the Model Ys. These are built in Fremont, and the ones with Pure Vision now seem to have a requirement as part of that process that when you drive them at night, you've got to have the auto high beam function on, which I don't know if anyone here has tried that functionality, and it's a little bit ordinary. I don't know if you guys have got any opinions on that, but the story is apparently that Tesla just wants to ensure that there's an opportunity for the car to see very well, since there is no radar. So that's sort of an interesting side little development that's come along, I think it's the last few days.
Yeah, I can talk on the high beam thing. I've had many a car like BMWs and so on with auto high beam, and it never worked very well. And I thought, oh, Elon will have done this right. Nope.
It's really hard. I mean, I must admit, you know, us humans can do it pretty well.
But we can see headlights in a distance, and until they get closer and then they register as being bright enough, the headlights won't dim.
Yeah.
Unless they flash their full beams at you. So you have to do it manually.
Exactly.
Well, I've got a suggested solution. I remember when the auto wipers came out, they were fairly ordinary to begin with as well. And then Tesla applied the neural net, the AI to it. I think they called it Deep Brain. And with the next update, the improvement was huge. And now I would never use auto wipers, and now I use them all the time. They're not perfect, but they're not far off. So maybe that's what they need to do, apply the neural net to the auto beams as well.
Maybe when he's got his vision-only driving going, it will be able to analyse what's up ahead and pick up rear lights, red lights, and oncoming dipped headlights better because it's using just purely the vision. Maybe. Fingers crossed.
Yep. Now this, I was going to actually speak these words, but I think a picture's probably worth 1,000 words. So let's just share this picture. And that's basically telling us that the Plaid Plus Model S has been cancelled. So much to the chagrin of many, I guess, North American prospective owners, because Australian order holders can only get it, well, they can't get it now, but you could have got it possibly by the end of next year. So yes, unfortunately, well, whether it's fortunate or not, the Plaid Plus, which was like it was added to the range because obviously on Battery Day, Tesla only announced the Plaid, and then they somehow decided to have a Plaid Plus, and now we're back to Plaid.
It was too close to the Roadster in performance.
Yes, and we can maybe get into the weeds a little bit later on, later tonight, when we look at some battery technology to see, you know, why. There's a few theories going around why they've cancelled it, but clearly it's got a lot to do with the 4680 cells, one way or another. Speaking of which, for the Plaid S delivery event is to be hosted, well, it's basically tomorrow US time, but for us it's between about 10 a.m. and noon on Friday. So that should be interesting, mainly because we'll probably then get some more specs from the car and any other features that they might not have been highlighting. So that'll be live streamed, I presume, on YouTube, or at least on Tesla's website, or presumably via YouTube as well. So that should be interesting. We know there's a lot of excited US Plaid owners or prospective owners that'll get their cars. So it should be a pretty interesting morning for us, evening for them.
Looks like they might do a live demo because they've paved the track there at Fremont, and they're now putting up the stage where the event is going to be held. So
yeah, and the track looks beautiful. It's fresh tarmac and freshly marked out lines. I think there might be a chance that some of the new owners might be able to get a spin, if not in their car, driven by a Tesla driver, but certainly in some demo cars, which, yeah, that should be pretty spectacular. Bearing in mind, of course, that the specs on that Plaid S is roughly the same as the Roadster as it was when it was announced
4 years ago.
4 years ago. So it's going to be spectacular one way or another. Now we've got, this is interesting. It looks like Tesla's FSD subscription is coming closer, as Tesla's decompiled phone app shows, according to Reddit user Calump01. So this guy's basically decompiled or disassembled the Tesla app on the phone, and he's found a couple of things such as weekend mode and travel mode. So it looks like perhaps you might be able to, rather than just renting it from month to month, you might be able to have different time slots, such as a week, maybe only on weekends, or maybe on certain trips. There's also a function in the code that allows Tesla to give you a refund. So presumably, if you want to cut short your subscription, or if you've bought it by accident, they can then refund it, which is sort of interesting, I guess. And in the same app, there's also code for Tesla's insurance offering, which includes things like safety ratings and also a simulator. So it looks like with the simulator, you might be able to sort of work out your driving style, or if you aim to alter your driving style, you could then work out what influence that would have on your premium, which is sort of interesting. There's a little bit of Big Brother there, and there's also a little bit of if you use it wisely, you can get a great discount. So that's sort of interesting. Obviously, no one knows when it's coming to Australia. Now, some interesting news. Tesla's long-term president of automotive and more recent president of heavy trucking, Jerome Gillian, has resigned on the 3rd of June. So he's obviously not the last or the first, senior executive to leave Tesla, and obviously not going to be the last. There's been a few ructions saying that he was instrumental in I think it was the release of the Model S back in 2013, and he took a leave of absence just before the release of the Model X in 2015. But looks like now he's finally moved on. But then he's been at Tesla for a long time, as have many other executives, and no one is indispensable. So you know, Tesla no doubt will keep going onwards and upwards in spite of his departure. Now, the next one is a video. Now, I'm not entirely sure who took this, because according to a tweet by someone called Hen, he attributed it to a Facebook user named Blazon Afro, but I couldn't actually find the video on his Facebook feed. But anyway, we'll say it's Blazon Afro for now. It's pretty awesome. This, by the way, is at Port Kembla.
All the white Model 3s go well with the music.
Just a little pro tip, you can notice they're not all white. They just are very well protected.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does look great. It does look like a whole flock of stormtroopers for sure. And that's awesome to see, you know. Presumably some of those cars are the ones that have made it all the way to Perth. Because I think they're using Port Kembla as a bit of a transshipment area. Now, the last bit of news is another movie. And this one sort of started out quite fraughtly for at least some of us, but ended up really well.
Oh, yeah. Was it 33 Teslas in the end, Harold?
I think it was.
Yep.
So yes, I think it, well, one of my drone shots, I counted 30, I think it was 32 or 33. But then I think someone came a bit later and some might have left, or yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell exactly. But it was an awesome turnout, which obviously didn't start very well. Oops, sorry, I just got to try and kill that off. Because obviously, as we know, we were slated to go to the CY O'Connor on the Sunday, and Rob, was it 6:30 when you rang me? Something like that.
You're muted, Rob.
Yeah.
You know, Joe put a Facebook message up 5:45, and I rang you probably about 2 minutes to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and I must admit, when Rob rang me, I go, well, what do you mean it's on fire? It can't be on fire. It's not allowed to. So yeah, suffice to say that we worked out an alternative venue, and it worked out really well. It was one of our best meetups, casual meetups ever. So a big shout out to everyone that came. And the cool thing too was there were a couple of people that haven't actually got cars, or nor do they have orders. They're just interested in Teslas, and they also came and had a chat, which was pretty cool.
I heard a rumor, Harold, that Scotty from marketing was trying to ruin an EV weekend.
Yes. We're going to burn CY O'Connor's down before there's a single Tesla that darkens its place upon it. Actually, and unfortunately, we had one of our new members actually didn't get the urgent email or Facebook or Twitter post, and actually turned up the next day to be greeted by reporters from Channel 7, Channel 9, and Channel 10 asking him why he was there. So he told them, you know, I was looking forward to a Tokla meetup, and there's no one here. But anyway,
Did that actually air? Do we know?
Sorry?
Do we know
I
if that
don't
actually?
know. Well, to be honest, I didn't look that day. It was actually on the Sunday. So unless, I don't know if anyone saw the evening news, whether any of that made any of the channels. I didn't see any news that night, so I don't know. But, you know, it's a great ironic anecdote. I'm sure the reporters would have been interested or whatever, amused. But anyway, hopefully that member will be with us in person at our next casual meetup, which is in a month's time on a Wednesday evening. So anyway, that's the news. Has anyone got any questions or comments or any other news items that I might have missed in the last week?
I've got something.
Alex, shoot.
Rightio. So I had a error come up yesterday on my Model 3. Power limited came up on the system.
Yes.
So I immediately contacted Tesla, who then set out Ben from service. And what it turned out to be was low coolant in the battery. So apparently they're not backing down Model 3s properly or something. I don't know.
So it might not have been fully filled in the first place.
That's right. There must have been an air pocket somewhere. So they just topped up the coolant and that was that. Bled the system. Apparently there's a process they have to do, and it's all done with a scan tool. So they basically did all that. They bled the system and topped up the coolant, and away we went.
So it's almost like there might have been an airlock or something, which has been latent for a while, and now it's suddenly popped out.
Something's jolted or something. It's really weird.
Must be COVID virus causing blockage.
Must be. Cold weather may have brought it out. I don't know.
Oh dear. Cool. So I think Peter, you had your hand up.
Yeah. What I've got behind me is the. I just want to get more connected to the grid, so I just thought I'd sort of get a few single. So I can parallel these and to make up the three phases nicely. And yeah. Anyway, there's enough for that. Enough for that picture.
I was going to say that's a little bit bigger than I think you'd have on a domestic property, just quietly.
Yeah. They're actually about right for a Tesla coil, actually a large Tesla coil. If you've got a reasonable single phase supply, and you run them in reverse, so you put 250 in, you get the 10 kV out, and that's just about right to drive a Tesla coil. Now, as you people know, I've just been. I think when I last rang, I was in Kalgoorlie, I think. And anyway, we sort of did a few things there, and then we drove. We were going to head down to Hyden, but they said the road was, mostly good, and it just had lots of corrugations. We didn't go down that 100 kilometres of gravel, so we skipped Hyden and more or less went home. On a few charging places and watched a few Netflix movies in the interim, and that all worked well. Driving from Cal to Bunbury in one sort of day. This was a road south of Merredin. I'm just trying to think where it was. This might have been even the road to Hunt to. Oh no! Anyway, it's a road south of, and it is interesting because it said, and this was rain. It had rained a lot of the way, so we had a lot of drizzle. In fact, that seemed to trick the window, the wiper sensors, and really it was very fine, sort of almost fog-like drizzle, and it just didn't seem to quite respond to that. We'd had to actually manually flick the wipers, so that didn't seem to go quite as well. But anyway. So this road, this is just the start of a gravel road, and it's got a slippery when wet sign. and then it had an 80-kilometre-hour sign that sort of got a bit faded out, and then eventually there was this sign that said drive to suit conditions. So this is both the most welcome and the most stupid sign ever for driving speeds and so on. But yeah, as thought that was amusing. Now the next, we went down south of Merredin, and I don't know if you people, I just was not aware of this, and this is the, I'll just flick through to the appropriate picture. I don't know if people sort of know this site. Now, this is south of Merredin, 25 kilometres south of Merredin. We're driving along a pretty small road, and I said, oh, yeah, the background is that I've seen the wind farm, the wind turbine at Esperance, there's one. I've seen a wind turbine at Hope Town, there's one. And then I could all of a sudden see all these turbines and over about a 90-degree arc of view in the distance. It was just massive. There's wind turbine. There's actually 111 wind turbines in this thing. They're all 2 megawatt. So they put out 222 gigawatt or something. Yeah, it's
megawatts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
220 gigawatts. So yeah, a mega, yeah, whatever, megawatts. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, look, it's just huge, and I had no idea that it was taking this much. So they've got a great site, including a nice interactive view. Anyway, so I gather they pay the farmers $8,000 to have one of these on their each one of these on their property. And it's actually owned privately by the Retail Employers Superannuation Fund, which I thought was sort of I thought it was quite interesting. But anyway, it has the same capacity at carbon sparing of 150,000 ICE cars. So if you equate that to 150,000 Teslas replacing, it's actually doing pretty well. So it's about 500,000 tons of carbon dioxide it saves a year. So I thought that was that was nice and interesting. And the other place we around that area we went to was Koura, just to between Coolgardie and Southern Cross, and it's a little home, sort of out in the bush. And it's run by two Anglican retired Anglican ministers, and they've got a nice little a destination charge there. They're very friendly, and I spent a lot of time chatting to the old bloke there. My wife was chatting to his. So the 2 hours went by very quickly, and so we discussed all things about the pipeline actually goes underneath his driveway, so I think at the back, the Wellington Dam to Kalgoorlie pipeline. They've got lots of sort of bits and pieces. In fact, I've got a nice 2-foot insulator, which I might use for a project later. When I was there.
We might just get back to a little bit later on. We've got a question from Mike, and it's a.
I'm finished anyway.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. Because we can do a little bit more later on. Got a question from Mike, which is asking what additional cables or connectors does he need to consider on for various charging stations? For example, should he get a CHAdeMO or a Type 2 to Type 2, or just rely on the CCS2 connections? So that's a pretty short question to a long answer. It really depends. So, Mike, when you're around town, say for instance, well, there's different connectors. There's the Tesla if you look on your navigation screen and you look at the bottom icon, which is a lightning bolt, that will show all the charges that Tesla is aware of. But what it does is it shows the only supercharger in Eaton, and it will also show destination charges. Now, all those Tesla destination charges have their own built-in cable. So they're known as tethered units. So for those locations, you need nothing for the supercharger or for the destination charges. Now, what you should do is get an app called PlugShare if you haven't already. And this basically shows you all the locations where there are chargers, but you've got to look at the actual plugs. So if you look at your car when you first get it, what you're compatible with is supercharger and Tesla. And this is ignoring 10 amp outlets because obviously they are everywhere. So on the map, in your car's map, it will show all of these locations that you can charge at, including Eaton at the supercharger. Now, if you're in town, and depending on where you are, if you activate type 2, most of these pins require a type 2 to type 2 cable. So for instance, if you're at Scarborough Beach, and just have a little click on there and pick a better photo. It's a bit hard to see, but there's a charger here and it hasn't got its own cable. So it needs a type 2 to type 2 cable to use that. And incidentally, that charger there is for free, as is the Floreat Beach one and quite a few others. So depending on where you live, that might be useful. The type 2 to type 2 cables are $300, but if you're a club member, you get them for $265. You can also borrow them for free from the club for road trips. So if you're going down south, actually most places down south don't need them, but there are some. Forget about the CHAdeMO because I presume you've got a Model 3. I'm pretty sure you would. Yep, you there, Mike? Sorry, I can't hear you. But just not if you've got a Model 3. Yeah. So there is no CHAdeMO adapter for Model 3s. If you've done a bit of Googling, there certainly are CHAdeMO adapters for Models S's and X, but they're the old style combined AC-DC connector, whereas the Model 3 has a proper CCS2, so you don't need a CHAdeMO adapter. Everywhere where there is CHAdeMO, there will be CCS. Well, almost everywhere where there's CHAdeMO, there'll be CCS2. I think Midland might be an exception unless that's changed lately. But basically, wherever you go, you don't need a cable for anything that's fast DC, pretty much. Now, if you're going, say, further north, you then may want to consider, well, certainly borrowing for a road trip off the club, again for free. You could borrow a 3-phase adapter. So when we go to plugs, you've got supercharger, Tesla, type 2. Then if you select 3-phase, it doesn't really do much in Perth. But when you go up north, for instance, no, Billabong has Tesla, doesn't it? Yes, sorry. If you go to, let's go to Pardue Roadhouse, and that has 3-phase. So for that, you'll need a 3-phase adapter. And there are a couple of versions. There's a cheap version that you can get from Alibaba and other places that gives your car 7.6 kilowatts. You can connect it to tail that you plug into your UMC, which is the mobile connector in your boot. It actually, have you got do you know where there's a photo, Rob, on PlugShare of one off the top of your head?
I know where there's one on our website. I can look it up.
Yeah, I've got one that sort of looks. I've just remembered one that sort of looks like it. Yeah, this will do. This is similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to this. So you basically plug it into a 3-phase outlet and plug the other end into your car. Now, there is one that you can plug into your UMC that's less than $200, and that will give you 32 amp single phase. and that's fair enough. That's 7.6 kilowatts. It'll charge your car at about 50 kilometers per hour. If you get the 3-phase all integrated version like this, which is 1 unit, that will get you the full 11 kilowatts, which is the most your car can charge at, and get you about 70 to 75 kilometers of range added every hour. And now that, if you go to a website such as evse.com.au, you'll see that unit for about $1,300 or $1,400. You can actually either borrow them for free from the club for road trips, or you can also buy them for $750. So hopefully that's answered most of your question. Have you got your car yet, Mike? It's coming soon. Cool. Coming later this month. Ah, right. Yes. So, cool. We can play charades. This is exciting. Look, the good thing is that you don't need to do anything in a hurry, because when you get your car, it'll be charged to between 40 and 80%. And when you get home, if you just plug it into your 10 amp outlet, it will charge your car at about 120 kilometers of range overnight. So, and also, again, if you just look in your car's map, you can just quickly look up Tesla destination charges, and a few of the shopping centers. There's a couple of the Stockland shopping centers have got destination charges, and there are a few others around as well. So you really, there's no mad rush to have to do anything in a massive hurry. The other thing,
and there's CCS2 charges around Perth as well, like at Gwelup and RAC, and you know, so and of course you don't need a cable for that. That just plugs straight in. Absolutely, and to bear in mind with those, I think most of them actually have stickers on them that tell you what to do or what you need to do, and on nearly all of them, you need to either have the ChargeFox app or the NextCharge app to trigger them. But that's really easily done. There's very little friction. You can just download the app and very quickly attach a credit card to it, and there you go. You got it there. You just need. Oh, you got NextCharge as well. Well done. Oh no, no, you don't. So you just need NextCharge. For instance, you'll need that. So it's just Next and Charge, one word, and it's a green logo with sort of like it's a weird happy face, skinny petrol bowser or skinny charger unit, I guess. And Ken's trying to show it.
An awesome job at.
My background is killing me.
Hang
on, I'm going to turn off my virtual background.
Yeah, it's that little green man there.
Yeah, you've got it, Mike. That's the one.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
That's my
So when you got that, you can then, oh, yep, nice one, Ken. Yep, beautiful. So when you got that, you can basically then charge your car easily and quite quickly, which is cool. I'm going to make a wild guess and claim that it might be a Poverty Pearl White model. Oh, well done. You're the odd one out. So is it red or blue? Black, grey, red.
Red. Nice. Goes faster.
Is it a performance one? Long range.
Long range.
Long range. Awesome. Awesome. Good choice. Very good choice. Which actually, speaking of, I don't know if anyone saw we tweeted it out. It's on our website. Oh, I forget who they were. They call themselves Car Chasers. Is that right, Ken? I've just got to look that up. Did a comparison video of the 5 top selling, chasing cars, sorry. Chasing cars. So it's actually, I'll just quickly show our website. It's comparison of the Hyundai Kona Model 3 long range, Nissan Leaf, 2nd generation Leaf, the MG, and Audi e-tron 55 Sportback. and it basically does a range comparison, and it scores the cars on, well, there's one award for the car that went the furthest, and the other one for the car that most closely matched its claimed range. So I won't spoil the fun if you watch the video, but suffice to say, Tesla does fairly well. Fairly well.
Harold, can I just mention, it should have probably gone in the news bit. If I can share my screen, tell me if you can see it.
Yeah.
Is that coming up now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Yeah, that was in Saturday's West. So obviously Jürgen Lunsman there with John's Model 3 green theme.
He's standing in front of the logo, you know.
Yes. Yes. He should have
The
moved
number plate.
to his right.
And actually you can probably see a little bit more of it there. So this was on the online version, this photo.
Yep.
And there was that one there as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
You can see a bit more of the logo there.
Yes.
For those that are new to the group, maybe the car's owner can say a few words about Jürgen's successes there. You're
John,
muted.
you're muted. You're muted. Unmute. Oh, and Sarah, I'll get to you shortly. Sorry about that. I'll get to you in a sec after John has.
How's that?
That's
I can hear you, John. Yep.
Yeah, I guess for the new guys, this Tesla Model 3 2019, we put it straight on the racetrack the day after I took delivery of it. And since then, we've been gradually improving various parts of it. So we've done the brakes, we've done the suspension, and we've put a roll cage into the vehicle and racing seats, and managed to overcome all the electronics problems involved in doing all that. So we're actually competing in the 2021 Targa West Tarmac Rally Series and Targa Cup. And I think Jürgen's leading the Targa Cup at the moment. That's multiple events that you have to enter every one, and you get more points for certain events, but you have to do them all. So we're leading the way in that, and we're up in the top 5 or 6 in the Targa West series as well. So it's quite a logistical exercise, keeping the charge up to the car when we're racing out in the country roads and various places around Pemberton. And later on in September, we'll be racing around the Perth Hills and Perth itself. And I think it's late September we'll be doing that. So stay tuned for more info on that as we get closer. Probably be looking for some volunteers to assist with the charging crew, because we're going to have four mobile charging assets this time that we're going to need to get in the right place at the right time to make sure we keep the charge up to the car. So if anyone's interested, register your interest, and we'll be forming a team as we get closer to that time. And it's good to see he's getting a bit of publicity there. That's unusual to get something in West Australia, so that's great.
Yeah, I think the West is slowly changing their tune.
It's good.
Which is good. And you know what, as are many people, I don't know about any of you people, but anecdotally, you see people looking at the cars who are seriously considering having that as their next car. Whereas before they would sort of poo-poo it, and they'd say, oh, you know, it hasn't got enough range, hasn't got enough this, it's not powerful enough. All of those objections are just melting away. And, you know, most people I know aspirationally want to buy an EV. And we can see that from, you know, the influx this quarter, with the best part of 300 cars coming in, as opposed to the 180 roughly from last quarter. And who knows, next quarter it could be 500.
Harold, can I step in there?
Yes. Right.
Peter Petrosky had a lot to do with that article in the paper. So well done, Peter. Fantastic effort you put in.
Yeah, good, Pete.
Thanks, Rob. And I'm going to slap your back straight back because wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. So
I know the last article you got in 3 weeks ago. You may have upset quite a few car dealers across Perth because that was basically like a $5,000 4-page advert for Tesla. And it was opposite John Hughes's adverts that he pays for every week.
Awesome.
My heart is bleeding.
And
Tocqueville got a good mention down the bottom too.
And don't forget, John Hughes apparently is driving that Model 3 that he has at his shop every day.
Wow.
Really?
Is that right?
Every day. It must burn him badly. But good on him for driving the best car in Western Australia. But yeah, apparently he drives it every day.
Well, certainly the best car on his lot.
And it's the only car he can't sell, as in, more of.
Hey, Rob, maybe that was the car that he sold recently to the lady that you told me that bought one from him a few weeks ago.
No, she came along on Sunday to the event, the last drop. But I think he's got another one in there.
Ah, okay.
So do we want to get on to Saras questions?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
yes.
so much. Yeah. Hey, Harold, Peter, and everybody else, you guys are all seems to be knowing what you guys are talking, which I don't. So I'm quite nervous here. This is not my field. I bought my new car today.
Excellent.
I must say that the experience is somewhat different to my previous cars. Of course, when I go to car dealer, I get coffee and I get tea. I get beautiful entertainment, beautiful people around, but that was not that. But again, they are so efficient though, because you go there, right there, all computer, just couple of signatures and you're out. And then, is that all? Yeah, you have to figure out it will be fine. That is the instruction I was given. But the young guys are pretty good. They're very fast. They expect me to absorb the information as quickly as they are, without realizing that everybody is not at the same wavelength when they come to the technology. So that is something that perhaps I have to absorb it. Now, anyway, I thought best thing is to bring these issues to this forum, as Harold said before. I think Harold already warned me last week. Look, don't expect this in and out. But any question, bring it here. So I'm going to bring all the questions I have here.
Cool.
Now the first one is here. It is actually, I just got the car and I just park it. I didn't have even time to look at that. Just like I feel like I have pretty young mistress waiting for me to have the company. I didn't have time to talk even. But knowing that she's quite safe, I know that I can go and talk to her later. So I'm just thinking, and I'm just reading the books and manuals and all that, talking to you guys, get some understanding about how this whole thing operates. So the first question I have is that when I read some materials, I found that when the car is parked, best thing is to activate the the charger. Rather than just not charging the car. So at the moment, the car is at 81%. I think that is how it was when I got the car. So question number one, would you suggest that I engage the charger and leave the charger as it is? It is, I think, 10 amperes output. I asked the electrician to come and convert that into 15 amperes. Whether will that make any difference? So that will be the first question. So if you could please answer that question, then I go to the second one.
So there's no need right this minute. You've got 81%. Is it a SR Plus or a long range car?
It is a standard range.
Standard range.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So first thing, that when you go in to set the charging speed, so if you click onto the car menu, no, sorry, it's the up arrow. Is that right, Pete? There's an up arrow, and then it shows a few other icons. So on the bottom row, you'll see an up arrow. You click that, you'll then see a row of icons, and one looks like a lightning bolt, and that's the charging screen. You'll then see there's a slider. There's an image of the car, like a drawing of the car, and it will show the battery pack, and it will show your will be mostly green because it's at 81%. You can then, in your car, because it's a Shanghai built, brand new Shanghai built SR Plus, you can feel free to set the slider, the charge slider, all the way to the right, which is 100%. But because your car's already at 81%, you don't need to feel compelled to charge it now necessarily if you don't feel like it, but you certainly can if you want to. So if you were to plug it in a 10 amp socket, it would be full by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And then what you can do is if you feel like the routine of every time you get home, you plug it in, that's great. But you could just decide to do that every few days, depending on use. So there's no need to sort of be compelled to always plug it in. But you certainly can if you wanted to.
Okay. Now, I also heard last time when I listened to you guys, you said that it is best to leave the charge at 80%, not 100%.
No. So that's why I was asking if you've got a standard range plus Model 3.
Yeah, correct.
And obviously, because it's just been delivered, it is from Shanghai, so it has the iron phosphate battery. And Tesla has absolutely said that you can feel free to charge that to 100% all day, every day, and never think twice about it. Which is different to some other cars where you certainly shouldn't do that.
In fact, I recommend charging to 100% at least once a week.
Okay.
And also, if you want it, there's a shortcut to get directly to the charging menu. You can just press on the battery icon in the top of the screen, and that will get you straight there too.
Okay. Now, when I open the things, actually, this is how. Let me share the screen. Okay. Here we go. Now, I don't know whether you can see this. This is how it looks like.
Yes, 81%. Yes.
Okay. So the right top one is the battery, right? Am I right?
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. When we say screen, we mean the screen of your car. Peter was referring to the screen inside your car.
Okay. Now I'm talking about the mobile phone, mobile app.
Oh yes. Well, actually, you can if you press on that battery. Just press on the battery. Do it now.
That is on the right top.
Yep. Press on the battery.
Just a big green, and you'll go straight to the charging.
And now you'll see the charging menu.
No, it says sorry. It is a loot box.
No, too high. You press on the green, so escape.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It says 81%, and then open charge port.
Yes. So just turn your screen around for a sec. Your phone towards the camera. Yes. Okay. See the slider? It's at 90%.
Right.
So see, it's got a little triangle facing upward in line. You can then just drag that all the way to the right.
Okay. To make it 100%, just like that.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Exactly. Now, for anyone else watching, and a big shout out to Raj, welcome. I'll welcome you formally a little bit later. But for anyone that does not have an SR Plus, or you have an older Model 3, whose VIN number does not start with LRW. If it starts with, I forget what it is now, but anyway, it's not LRW, then it'll be different.
5YJ is one of the older ones, I think.
Yes. So if you've got one of those cars, the actual slider will look differently. It'll have little markings, and some markings will say daily and others will say trip. In that case, it's recommended to go to 90% or no higher than 90%. But in South's case, with a Shanghai built SR Plus, you can go to 100% all day, every day.
Excellent. Thank you. Can I go to my second question?
Of course.
Okay. Sorry, guys. If anybody else want me to shut up, let me know. I will shut up.
Any question you're asking now is probably what half the people in the room are interested in anyway. So it's good. It's all cool.
Thank you. In relation to the using the mobile phone as my car key, when I use the mobile phone, do I still need to have the key to place in the console to be able to start the car?
No. So you can certainly have the key in your wallet if that's your preference, if you don't mind having another card in your wallet.
Right.
you could say as an emergency spare or something,
Right.
but you don't need it whatsoever. And I
Okay.
believe even if your phone is flat, it will unlock your car for a short time. I'm not entirely certain about that, but basically you don't need to have it with you if you've got your phone with you as a key.
Okay.
I
So there is
still
no.
think it's a good idea to have it in your wallet,
Okay.
just in case you might lose your phone. My wife had her card in her purse,
Right.
and her phone was switched off, and she was wondering why the car won't open. So she got the thing out of it, tapped it on, put it down, she could drive. And then when she got back, I go, oh, your phone's off, dear.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. The next question is that the autopilot. Now, one thing I'm quite interested about technology, how to use this technology. That is something that I'm very keen in. And in relation to the autopilot, I was quite misled and misunderstood what is said. I was under the impression there is autopilot comes with all the cars now, and that would include the auto reverse and all that. But I was told that no, for the auto reverse and all that, you need to buy another package for $10,000. I think you guys have some opinion on that. Can you revisit that, please? What your thoughts are on that?
Yeah. So very briefly, what Tesla's decided to do is bundle autopilot, which is automatic lane keeping, automatic traffic aware cruise control, auto steer, all that sort of stuff for basically for free, or it's included in the price of the car. And then they have a big step to what they call FSD, full self-driving, which it isn't yet. But I think to get people to take up that package, they've taken some of the more simple functions away from autopilot, such as automatic parallel parking,
Yes.
automatic perpendicular parking,
Ah.
semi-automatic lane changing, whereby you could just blip on the indicator and it would then change lanes while it was on autopilot by itself, if it was safe. And also what they call navigate and autopilot, which basically is if you're on a freeway, it will automatically take you off an off ramp if you're navigating to somewhere. And potentially if there were two freeways, it would take you off one off ramp onto an on ramp of another freeway. But sometimes, to be honest, that behavior is a little bit erratic. Now,
and it can automatically overtake as well.
Oh, sorry, and, yes, and it can, yes. So, and it can do that completely autonomously if you let it, or you can do it semi-automatically, whereby you just need to pull down or pull back. I forget which way it goes on the Model 3, but you just need to tell the car that you're cool with it. Now, so the other thing that is the full self-driving package has now, which is actually more useful, is it will automatically come to a stop at most intersections, such as stop signs, give way signs, roundabouts, and red traffic lights. It will go through green traffic lights if there's a car in front of it, but if there isn't, it'll give like a little ding noise, and then you just need to give it an acknowledgement that you're comfortable with it going through the traffic lights. But again, sometimes there are some false negatives, such as down the freeway, you see the red lights on the for the train tracks, and it can sometimes misinterpret them and slow down. Now, as far as price goes, you're right, it's $10,100. One good thing is, if you're in two minds as to whether it's worth the money at the moment, you may be concerned that Tesla might put the price up, as they have done in the past. And in fact, in the United States, the cost of full self-driving is $10,000 US, whereas in Australia, it's basically 10,000 Australian dollars. So we already have, a 25% discount at the moment, because we don't have the same looming features that are about to drop in the States, that they have. So good thing is, Tesla has done this in the past, and Elon Musk has conceded that there will be some days notice before a price rise. So it's not like you're going to wake up in the morning and suddenly find that the price went from 10,000 to 14 overnight and you've missed out. So at that time, you can then make up your mind as to whether you want to then jump. And to be brutally honest, the actual full self-driving, the nameplate where you can basically sit back, arms crossed, and use your mobile and be over the alcohol limit or whatever, or not be a competent driver. The time when that comes about, no one knows. It could be some years before that actually happens.
Yeah.
But all the other features are great in the meantime.
Okay.
But there's no rush, so you will have some time.
Yeah.
And as soon as it gets tweeted out that there's a price rise, we will retweet it, and we'll send out emails and publicize it to all our members that a price rise is coming. And then you'll have to make up your mind whether you want to delay again or invest whatever it is. Well, the $10,000 instead of the, higher price.
Yeah. And so if there are any updates that are coming after you purchase it, that will be, I assume that will be just free of charge. I don't think we need to pay for every single update.
Yes. And in fact, not only is it free of charge, if Tesla have to do anything else to the car to make it do full self-driving, they will also pay for that. So for instance, I've got an older car that had a much older computer, and that was recently changed for free for the same computer that's in the current cars. Because at the time, Tesla had promised effectively full self-driving capability in my car, even though the hardware couldn't do it. So if by some circumstance Tesla works out that they need to upgrade the computer in your car to make it do full self-driving and you have paid for it at any stage, you won't pay another cent.
Harold, you might want to also mention the subscription option they might potentially also.
Yeah, very, very good point. So as I alluded to in the news earlier, another possibility is you can just, rather than paying, let's say at the moment, $10,000 up front, bearing in mind that if your car gets written off tomorrow, you don't get any of that. You can't roll that feature forward to another car. You've basically lost that money forever. What will be coming quite soon is a subscription model. So you basically rent full self-driving capabilities, let's call them enhanced autopilot capabilities, for a monthly fee. And it looks like, as per the news, you might be able to do it for maybe just on weekends, or you might be able to do it for a trip. And I guess like anything, any rental agreement, the longer the period of time, the cheaper it would be. And obviously, if you bought it up front, providing you held onto your car, that's the cheapest option over that sort of time period. But yeah, so you could just decide to just do nothing, and I was going to say put up with your car the way it is, which is still awesome, being able to do full lane keeping and all that sort of stuff. And maybe just give it a go. You can try it. You could rent it for a month, and if you like it, keep it, and if you don't, drop it.
Is rental available now?
No.
Okay.
No. Sorry, Stephen, you were just going to say something. Sorry about that.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Stephen.
You're mute. You're on mute.
Better now?
Yes.
That's because I was playing music in the background, didn't want to annoy everyone. I'm probably the oldest person here, so this only applies probably to me, none of you guys. When you buy a new car and you're getting the 50% discount from the government for your registration, didn't know that, did you? You do get a 50% discount. And you go to you trade in a car and buy your Tesla. The advice that I'm giving you is that it's better to hand in your car and wait a couple of days before the registration change goes ahead, and then get your new car registered in your name. Because the government, when they see that you own two cars at the same time, discontinue your 50% thingo. And let me tell you, it is a right pain to have that refunded, which was 2 hours waiting out at Cannington in the license department, pleading to the manager that it wasn't my fault that they didn't put the registration change through in a timely manner. And then it took 6 weeks to go through the machinations before the refund check. So that the advice is clear the old car out of the way, then buy your new car.
Very good
Mm.
point, Stephen. Yeah, that's.
You know, it's something that you couldn't think of in advance. You're so keen to get your new car, but when you are signing over the car at the dealership, you're not actually signing the transfer papers. It's some other legality. They then on sell, I suspect, to a wholesaler,
Yes,
and
they do,
that's where the
absolutely.
transfer takes place, which can be a week or so from when you handed over the car. And that's where the government steps in and says, so when you guys are old enough and buy your next new Tesla, bear that in mind.
Well, I already did that today. Actually, I traded in my car, BMW I had, and I traded in today and bought the Tesla. So I didn't realize that. I don't know what implication it will have.
You don't look old enough to qualify for discount, I suspect. And you're still working.
I'm working. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that is okay. Okay. A couple of more questions. Is that okay for me to continue?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and then we'll get on to Raj. We'll welcome Raj formally.
Okay.
straight after.
Now, I actually I saw that here it says expiry of premium connectivity in 10th of July. So every month there's a premium expiry. What does this mean and what is it? I don't know.
Okay,
Just means you got the first month for free.
For what? What do I get free for first month?
So Joe knows this very well, but Joe's no doubt studiously working. Now, what the premium connectivity gets you is the ability to stream YouTube videos, Netflix. It gives you, when you look at your map, your map, there's an icon that looks like a globe, like the world with latitude, longitude. If you press that, you'll get an aerial photo instead of the map. So when you don't have premium connectivity, you lose the aerial photo.
Okay.
You lose streaming of Netflix, YouTube,
live traffic,
and
Spotify.
And
so
live
that's what you
traffic
lose. Now you also lose the visualization of traffic status, such as where the roads are slow. So that Google shows you got red bits and amber bits for where the traffic is slower. But we think, and I think Joe has confirmed this, if you don't have premium connectivity, when you navigate to somewhere, it still takes you by the quickest route, even though it doesn't show you where there's slow traffic. So it's a bit subjective. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, because I tested it with Google Maps. So there was a crash on the freeway. I had Google Maps on my phone with the traffic obviously showing, and it was telling me to go around, not go on the freeway. And the car, I didn't have premium connectivity, so I couldn't see any traffic on the car, but the car also was telling me to go that other route too, which was quite strange because I thought it didn't know about the traffic, but it does know about it. It just doesn't show you. Well, that was by test anyway.
Okay.
So and the good thing is that to get premium connectivity, Sarah, it costs $10 a month.
Yeah.
Which, due to a entrepreneurial Australian tweet or Twitterer, he basically said, "Oh, look, can't we have it at $10 too?" And of course, Elon said yes. And in the US, it costs $10, and it costs $10 here. So again, we've got a 25% discount. But you can do as Joe does, if you like, and just take it and leave it as it comes. Like you can. Well, Joe, tell us a story. You take it for a couple of months.
Okay, we have it switched off most of the time, but I've got 2 young kids. When we go on holidays, we switch it on so that I don't need this now, but so that we have the traffic. But also then when we're there, because obviously we don't really have much data on our phones, so you can stick the kids in the car and watch Netflix when we're on a campsite or whatever. And so just $10 for them to watch TV, ABC Kids, whatever, whilst you're on a campsite is worth it, definitely.
Okay, all right. Okay,
and then switch it off again when we come back.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay,
and
then.
Sorry, just a quickie, Joe. And if you don't have it, can you still tether to your phone and watch Netflix and YouTube via the
Yes, it does that occasionally. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And also something useful is if you are parked at home in the garage or whatever and you're on your home Wi-Fi, then obviously it all works in the car. So the kids do
Yes.
watch Netflix in the car. But if you are like listening to Spotify, you bring up a song or an album whilst you're in the garage and you press play, and then right up until and then you drive off, it still plays, and it doesn't just play that song, it plays like the whole album until you go into park, and then you lose your connectivity. So I don't know how that works, but that's a little cheap.
Cool. Cool.
Okay. Now, in my car, there are 2 adapters. Do you guys know what those 2 adapters are? It looks the same to me.
Yes. So you mean in the little box where the
Yeah,
charging
correct.
cable is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they look almost identical.
Correct.
And actually, on past experience, there's a faint possibility that they might be identical, because a few owners have been given identical 15 amp tails, but one ought to have the earth pin ought to be taller on one of them than the other. So you'll find that one will fit into your standard general purpose outlet, power point, and the other one won't. Now that one is intended for 15 amp outlets, which you can find at caravan parks and other places. But again, I think you mentioned that you're going to get an electrician to change your power point
to 15
amp one.
Yeah.
So then you plug in now, interestingly enough, both of your tails will fit into the 15 amp socket.
Okay.
So what you ought to do is just carefully look at the 2 tails and get the one with the tallest earth pin.
Yeah.
It's not really thickest, but it's sort of, I don't know how to describe that.
It's wider.
Wider. Okay.
Yeah.
Wider.
Vertically.
Yeah, it's the vertically tallest earth pin, and that's the one you should use. And then just put the other one, just have that loose in your box, in a little carry case.
Okay. All right. I think
so the earth pin is the one that's by itself. So you have the 2 that are on an angle at the top, and then one that's vertical on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's the earth pin. So on the 15 amp, that one will be a little bit taller. Yeah. On the 10 amp, it will be roughly the same as the other 2.
Okay. Beautiful. I think pretty much that's all. That covered all my questions. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is there anything that I had to do, any setup in the car at this stage? Any settings that I need to do?
You've got Sentry mode set up. You might not know about that.
No.
Okay.
They help me to set up the steering wheel and the seat. That's it. Go, mate, go.
I must admit, I have asked Tesla to do you know how you can go to a website associated with SpaceX and you can do a simulation of docking the Dragon capsule to the International Space Station. And it's really awesome. You can fly around and do stuff. Well, we asked Tesla if we could get a simulation of the screen in a Model 3. So you can just put that on a website so we can then do live demonstrations, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
But Tesla are very busy at the moment.
Yeah.
So Pete or someone, can you please describe to Sarath how to set up Sentry mode if it's not already set up?
Sarath, it should. Yeah. It's probably already set up. If you've still got your phone there with your mobile, with your Tesla app.
Yeah.
If you go under controls, and it should be the second one from the bottom, the one that's above speed limit mode. It says Sentry mode.
Okay. So this is, where is it under? Controls, right? So go to controls.
Correct.
and then?
And then it's the second one from the bottom. It says Sentry mode.
Okay. Sentry mode. Yes, I got it. It is on.
Okay, excellent. So you've got it set up already.
Okay.
Because your car will already come with a USB drive.
Right.
Or a USB stick, which is inserted into the USB socket, which is inside the glove box.
Yeah.
That's the location for the newer cars.
Yeah.
So try not to bump that one. It does stick out quite a bit. So when putting things into the glove box, just be careful so that you don't break it off.
Right.
You can do what Nigel has done and actually connect a portable hard disk drive and store your. So what Sentry Mode is it stores two types of vision. So while you're driving, it will store your dash cam vision. Now, what you can do under the settings, you can actually select a option so that when you honk your horn, it automatically saves that bit of vision.
Right.
So because what it will do is once the drive gets full, it will start to override the old vision.
Right.
But if you save the vision, then it will keep that bit. So another way to save the vision is up at the top of your screen in your car, you'll have a icon which looks like a, what does it look like, Nigel? Is it a camera? Sort of like a camera.
Yeah, it's like a little camera, oblong box with a circle in it.
Yeah. And so
that's for the recording, and then you can actually look at them. And there's also like a little asterisk or star or a sun, which is the Sentry Mode, and that's usually got a red dot on it if it's active. But there is one other setup. You can have Sentry Mode on when it's parked in your garage or not, and that's in the car you've got to go to. So most of the time, if you've got your car locked in the garage, you don't need Sentry Mode on because it will use a small percentage of the battery overnight.
Okay.
And so to clarify, there's two types of visions that it saves. So one is the dash cam while you're driving, and so it will record the front camera, the rear camera, and the two side cameras.
Yeah.
So you'll get 4 lots of video feeds, and it will use this, and it will record those 4 feeds when you're stationary as well. If you've got that Sentry Mode enabled, which looks like you've already got it enabled, which is good.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing you can think about setting up, there's 2 other PIN codes that you can put in. So if you're worried about someone stealing your phone and being able to get into the car, it's really no different to someone stealing your car keys in a normal car. But but Tesla has an extra level of security, so you can choose what's called PIN to drive. That's under the security menu on the screen, and then the car insists on a 4-digit PIN before you drive it. So that's quite a useful feature, and you can do the same for your glove box.
Right.
So if you wanted to lock your glove box, you can lock it with a PIN as well. Just make sure you obviously don't forget the PIN.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. So that's it pretty much that I had to be concerned about.
There's more. Have you set your home address?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So we actually have a few pro tip videos on our YouTube site. So you can have a bit of a browse through that. But basically, when you go to navigate, you'll see that where the arrow is, if you press on it, you'll see it'll say set home and set work. In your case, because it hasn't been set, neither of those have been set.
Yeah.
So if you press those buttons, you can set your home address.
Yeah.
And then you can set your work address. Now, the advantage of doing that is there's a couple of quick ways of navigating to home or to work. So say in the morning, the car will presume if you're at home that you want to go to work, and you can just slide the navigator button to the right, or you can slide it downwards, like drag it downwards and let go of it, and it will then just infer that you want to go to work. Now, if you're at work, and depending on what time of day it is, if you did the same thing, it would just infer that you want to go home.
Right.
The other reason for setting your home address is with your Sentry Mode, on its settings, as Pete said, you can exclude home and you can exclude work. Because if you've got a garage, like Nigel said, you don't really need to have your Sentry Mode running because no one's going to get into your garage. So the only way you can actually exclude home is if it knows where home is. So that's one good thing to set as well. Oh, and there's also favorites. So you can also set favorites in your navigation screen.
Okay.
It's a little bit difficult to describe how to do that right now, but if you have a little bit of an explore around, you'll be able to sort of work out how to do that. And you can also exclude favorites. So if there are secure places that you regularly visit, then you can also tell the Sentry mode to not record when you're at home, work, or a favorite location.
Okay.
And speaking of navigation, another thing that's useful is make sure that your phone, when you connected it, I think it's in your app, your Tesla app, to tell it to share calendar details and messages. So when you do that, if you actually have an appointment coming up and you have an address that's in that appointment, so you have an appointment to go somewhere and that comes with an address.
Yeah.
When you actually hop in your car and it's not that long to go before your appointment starts, your car will infer that you want to go to that appointment and it will navigate you straight there, which can be quite useful, quite handy. Or you can press on the calendar symbol on the bottom part of the screen. I think when you press the up arrow, I'm not entirely sure, and it looks like a calendar. It's actually got today's date, I think, on it. And when you press on that, it'll show you all the calendar entries for today. And if you click on any one of them, and if they have an address, the car will navigate to that address.
Right. Okay. Beautiful.
Another setting you can try, probably won't be that relevant over winter, but when summer comes, it's the cabin overheat protection. So what they will do is the aircon and the climate will automatically come on once the interior of the car gets to 40 degrees. So that will preserve your interior, obviously, for longer. But now it won't, once your battery level drops to 20%, it won't come on. And there's a lot of things that the car won't do once your battery level is below 20%.
Including Sentry mode.
Including, yeah, good one. But
So
yeah,
sorry, I didn't hear that. What did you say, Nigel?
I said including Sentry mode. It
okay.
stops working when your battery level gets under 20%.
Okay.
So that's one. And I was going to mention another one, which I've lost my track of thought now. Keep on talking, I'm sure.
I've got one that's a useful one, is walk away door lock.
Oh yeah.
Can't live without that. And also in the locks, so it's in the lock screen, I think. And also if you've got children, in that lock screen is also your child lock as well. So it locks the back doors, they can't get out.
Okay.
Also a good tip there is to set it so that your mirrors
Fold in, yeah.
come in. And that way, if you're ever wondering whether your car's locked or unlocked.
Yeah, I did that.
Without having to look at your app, you can just look at your car and see if the mirrors are folded or not. And when you walk away from the car and you go outside the Bluetooth range and the car auto locks, I'm not sure if there's a button for it, but I know mine beeps or the car honks.
I think that's an extra option, yeah.
Is
Because we
it?
had to switch it off in the campsite because it was annoying people. You have to, it's an option on or off if it beeps. Beep on walk away door lock or something.
Or it's lock, I think it's lock confirmation.
Or lock confirmation, that's the one.
Yeah.
And you can have the windows close.
Oh yeah.
When
They all came along since we've got our car, didn't they? It didn't used to do this when we bought our cars.
Actually, speaking of something that's come along was single pedal driving. And that's something that, Sarath, do you know, how is your car set at the moment? So when you take your foot off the accelerator while you're driving, what happens? Does the car
slows down. It slows down to an extent where it will stop automatically.
Completely?
Literally, I think it happened a number of times in the car. I just drove about 20 kilometers from the city to my home today. That's all. But I experienced during that short visit, that the short trip, that in the car, in the traffic light, I just took the pedal off completely and it slowly stopped. Yeah, completely.
Now, so I'm not sure what the terminology for that setting is. I just call it single pedal driving.
Hold,
that's the one. And Nigel, what's the other one? So there's hold, roll, and what's the other one?
Creep.
Creep.
Creep, that's the one. So creep is basically similar to driving a old automatic, where the you know, as it says, it starts to creep or move forward as soon as you take your foot off the brake. But yeah, I actually always have it in that hold setting. That's what gives you the most range, because you get to take advantage of regenerative braking the most out of any of the 3 modes. You know, you could argue it's, you know, the safest mode from, but yeah, and you get a true EV experience in that mode.
Yeah. So basically I had to go to settings, and from there only I can find all those options, is it?
Yes. So the settings is the car symbol.
Yeah.
And
when
this
you
is
go into
the
that,
driving, I think.
yes. And
I think it's under the driving menu.
yeah. So to bring up settings, you press the car symbol. Looks like like a car, and then you've got a whole menu item. And as Pete said, it's in the driving section.
Driving section.
But
Okay.
the mode you're in is the hardest. Is probably the hardest one to get used to, but it's probably the most rewarding.
Which one? Sorry, which one?
The one you've got.
Okay.
The one where you let go of your accelerator.
Yeah.
And it basically, well, not even gently, it comes to a stop.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you want to sort of go a little bit further, you've got to just put a little bit of accelerator on just to nudge forward. But
yeah, it slowly stops though. It doesn't stop just like that. It slowly stops gently. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
just nice. I'm very comfortable with that. Very nice.
Sarath, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
That if you just sit down in your car, hit the little car icon in the bottom right of the screen, and then go through each menu item.
Yeah.
And then move the screen up and down where the main bit of that menu is. So you got driving, you can scroll up and down the center bit, and because it's got a few more hidden settings, and just have a look and a play, and think, oh, what's that do?
Yeah.
You can read up about it, or some of it is self-explanatory, like lock on, walk away, or walk away and lock. Well, that's obvious. You walk away and the car will lock. And then you can try out all these settings and get it set up how you like it.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I should. I have left my tomorrow days to spend with my new partner. Tomorrow I will be doing that.
Now, Sarath, if you ever get stuck, and so you can always go. I'm pretty sure it's under the service, which is the bottom menu.
Yeah,
and there's actually a digital manual on the screen.
Right.
And there's a search function, so it's got a menu, but there's a search function as well.
Yeah.
So you can put in words and search for things if you're unsure of what some of the functions may do.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, guys. Really,
just
helpful.
We'll just ring my number there, which is on screen in the chat.
Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Anyone here is welcome to do that anytime at all.
One thing that was set up on my car was auto steer.
Say again, Nigel?
I didn't have auto steer enabled on my car, so when I took delivery of it, as well as the scratch, I also had auto steer disabled.
Did you have FD, Nigel?
Pardon?
Did you have full self-driving purchased on your car?
No.
It was just
No, but basically autopilot, it means autopilot is disabled. And in fact, I saw that on Carmen's car. Oh, and another gentleman's car, and a gentleman's car as well, that, because I instinctively said, oh, look, just do a double tap on your stalk to start autopilot, and it wouldn't start. And we had to ask him to pull over, go into the menu and enable basically autopilot or auto steer. So that's, you're dead right there, Nigel. That's, is that in the driving? That's in autopilot, isn't it? I think it's the autopilot menu. Because for some reason you can disable it. Well, I guess it means you can't accidentally enable it if you didn't know how to use it. Now I should welcome Raj very belatedly, but thanks for joining us. Hopefully some of Sareth's questions might have been yours too, but if you've got anything yourself, feel free to tell us.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. It's really cool to see such an engaged community. It's really impressive. Most of those questions were absolutely directly relevant, so that was great. I just had one, hopefully minor question. So I take delivery on Saturday. At the moment, there's a significant shortage of power sockets in my garage, which means that the way that I have to park my car, it's going to be the other end of the garage to where the power socket is. And I believe that standard extension cords don't do so well with the UMC that ships with the car. Is that true or not? Or can I am getting an electrician to come in and install a 32 amp 5-pin socket because I do have 3-phase power at my place. So that won't happen for a couple of weeks. So I'm just trying to figure out whether I need to be prepared until then.
Excellent question, Raj. That was one of mine as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, so initially the first thing to think of is the standard 10 amp tail that goes into your what's called a UMC, Universal Mobile Connector, which is it's in a box in your boot of your car. It actually only draws 8 amps. So if you were to get any quality extension cord from Bunnings, that would be fine because it is only 8 out of 10 amps that you're going to draw. So any quality extension cord will be perfectly fine. Now you mentioned that you're going to get an electrician to fit a 32 amp 3-phase socket. Okay, so are you looking at mating that with a 32 amp 3-phase charger?
I've ordered the 5-pin tail from EVSE.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Is that so? That was a couple $100 roughly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, in that ballpark. Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Yeah. No worries.
So
I was of the impression that would just plug into my UMC and then I could just charge.
Yes, it will. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now your electrician needs to install a 32 amp circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Isolator.
Well, actually, sorry, well, it's an isolator and it's a circuit breaker and an RCD. But the electrician will do that anyway because I think these days they have to if they install a socket.
Okay. Yeah.
So they need
that will give you roughly about 7.6 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I always get confused with the calculation, but for a
roughly about 45
hour,
kilometers roughly an hour.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Which means your car will be charged overnight easily.
Yeah,
well and truly.
Yeah. Well and
have you got a SR Plus or a long range? Right.
SR Plus.
Yeah, cool. So again, just like Sareth, you just set it to 100% and Bob's your uncle. It's all easy.
And I can sort of trust the car just to look after that. I can just plug it in and just not worry about it. It's going to charge appropriately and stop when it's
it'll be automatic. It's completely automatic, so that's fine. That's fine. I should actually welcome Barry. Apologies, Barry, for not mentioning you earlier.
That's okay, no problem.
Welcome, and which car have you got?
Not got yet, but it's the long range.
Awesome. When are you getting it?
Currently, they say between the 21st and the 30th of June.
Well,
So,
you can guarantee it won't be any later than the 30th of June, that's for sure. Because
really?
Tesla have a very hard cutoff, which is the end of the quarter. So no matter what happens, you'll be getting it before then.
oh, cool. Okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
So have you got any questions or any queries or anything that?
Maybe a couple. Obviously, I'm following on from those charging questions. I think for the long range it's set 80%, not 100.
You can go 80 or 90. 90 is actually quite safe to do as well, if that's your personal preference. So there's nothing at all wrong with setting it to 90 if that's what you like to do.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I'm hoping to charge it off the solar as much as I can. initially I'll just be using the charger that comes with it, which I've been told is perfectly adequate for doing sort of 250 Ks a week. But I've been looking at the Zappi thing, My Energy Zappi, so that I can let it automatically use the solar rather than anything else, which I think is probably a good idea.
Do you have a battery storage system? Do you have a battery?
No.
Okay. And you've got presumably 5 kilowatt inverter, 6.6 panels?
Yes.
And you've got air conditioning at home?
I do, yes.
And you leave your car at home most of the time?
Yeah, I'm working from home quite a bit these days. Yep. Thank you, COVID. Yes, I should be able to take advantage of the sunshine.
Cool, cool. Because you just want to make sure you run a ruler over the numbers, because the Zappi is not the cheapest charging unit in town.
No.
So in a sense, when you pay a couple of $1,000s for a Zappi, you've prepaid all that electricity that you then hope to get sort of for free from your panels.
That's true.
So
the other thing I was thinking was just go with some ordinary charger and just do the smarts with my brain rather than let the unit work it out. You know, and it'd be a case of look outside, is the sun shining? Yes, I'll switch on the charger.
Well, you can do that. Go, Pete.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, what you can also do is you can set up a charging schedule in your car. So, I've actually got it set up the other way around. So we're on a old tariff where we get paid 47.135 cents for anything we fit back into the grid during the day, and we only pay 13 cents at night. So I've got it set up so it starts charging after 9 p.m. and finishes at 7 a.m. But if you wanted to, you could set it up to start charging at 10 a.m. and finish at 5 or 6 p.m. or something along those lines. But just keep an eye on it just to make sure that you don't get caught with a low state of charge when you need it. But that's one way that you can semi-automate it. There's actually a third-party app as well that will let you do a slightly more sophisticated schedule, which I've used as well, and I can't remember the name of it right now.
Okay, right.
But you should definitely run a ruler over, do you want to, again, if you pay a couple of grand for something to get free juice, well, you've already got $2,000 that you've got to recoup.
You're already out of pocket, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
And the thing too is with the 8 amp tail, sorry, it's a 10 amp tail, but it draws 8 amps.
8 amps, yeah.
That's about 2,000 watts. So if you're only doing a couple of 100 kilometers a week, the good thing about, say, pulling 2,000 watts from your house, from your solar system, is you're probably generating, well, not in winter, but other times you're generating maybe 3 or 4 or 5 kilowatts.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that you're not likely to overdraw, but you've got plenty of time in the day to recoup all that energy, to charge the car.
Yeah, I must admit, I was on the 54-cent tariff in feed, but that ran out after the 10 years. So now I'm down to I think it's 7 cents you get. So I object to selling it to the Synergy for 7 cents when I could use it to charge the car. So I'd rather do that.
Harold, I think
John. Oh, sorry. John just had his hand up. I just noticed.
Just in a little bit of defense of Zappi, right? Because I've got a Zappi, and I reckon it's the convenience is definitely there, right? So and then they're not that expensive. Like I think it was a bit over $1,000 you can get them if you buy them online, and $100 or so for the electrician to put it in. But
they're a bit more now, John. Especially the 3-phase units are over $2,000.
Yeah. So just talking about single phase. So I've got a battery there, but what happens is I put the Zappi on full eco, and so it lets the battery charge as the first priority in the morning. And then when all the other things are satisfied and the sun gets going, it starts charging the car. And then the little hot water service I've got at my office, that comes on a timer. So the Zappy allows that to happen. So, it's pretty convenient, just set and forget, and the car's getting all that extra solar that you don't want to send to Synergy. So, I think there's other options to Zappy, which I'm not that familiar with, that might be worth looking at, but definitely convenience is there.
Zappy was definitely the first charger to enable you to use excess solar to charge your car with rather than exporting. So they were the first. There's a couple of others, but they seem to be still the leader.
Right. Yeah, I was quoted 2,400 to have it installed.
Yeah, that'd be a 3-phase one. Yeah.
No, single phase.
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And from what you've been saying, that it maybe isn't a good idea. The other question I had on charging, is it worth getting a Type 2 cable?
It is if you've got, well, for instance, if you want to do road trips where there are charges that require it, then that's quite useful. Or but again, if you're doing a road trip, you can borrow it for free from the club. Or if you happen to have a local Type 2 EVSE, nearby you, that provides free charging.
Right.
Because then, again, you pay $265 for a cable to get free electricity, which just means you prepay, 10 kilowatt hours of charging. So if you've got a local place somewhere nearby that you frequent, then it can be quite useful. Or if you want to do certain road trips or certain trips where you need charging, if you go to Brookton, for example, you need to get a Type 2 cable because that's the only way you can charge at that charger in Brookton.
Right. Okay.
If you're going to be charging outside the house, that's the cable that you'll probably get the most use out of.
Right. Yeah, that's the impression I got from reading up on it. Yes. Okay.
And you can get it at the club for $265. Normally they're $300.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few chargers in and around Perth, like at Frio, Cappuccino Strip, Gateway Shopping Centre, and so on, where a Type 2 cable is really handy.
Scarborough, Club, Floreat. Yeah.
Right. Okay. It sounds like it's worth getting that one.
Okay. Curtin University has got one. Is that Type 2? Do you know? Anyone knows?
Sorry?
Curtin University has got one. Is it Type 2?
Oh, actually, no. I think that's a 3-phase, isn't it?
No, actually, Curtin actually now has, I'm going to go air quotes and go fast DC charger. It's a 25 kilowatt DC charger. In fact, I'll bring it up on PlugShare. Okay. So it's this unit here, and it's an ABB 20. I think I didn't look at the description. I think it's 24 kilowatt unit, and it's got really generous pricing. So from Monday to Friday, 8 till 4:30, it's $2.55 per hour.
$1 for Saturday to Sunday.
Yes.
And do you have the parking fee on top of that?
Actually, I
know they said the zone there was
actually,
100.
Actually, I'll take all that back. That's not actually a bad price. I apologise to Curtin because I thought that was per kilowatt hour. It's actually per hour.
Kilowatt hour, Harold.
Sorry?
That's about 11 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yes, that's actually all right. So I take it back. Apologies, Curtin. That's good. That's good value, actually.
And it's free parking, I see.
And it's free parking.
Yeah.
So do you have to have a separate cable for that? The car, we can't use our own one,
No,
right?
the cable comes with it. So it's this little blue handle here. That's a CCS cable.
Right. You just plug into the car, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
So wherever you see a fast DC charger, for instance, such as at UWA,
it's all the brown icons like Shredder.
It's basically self-contained.
Okay.
There are no new Model S or X owners here, so that's the only exception is for S and X cars where you need an adapter and you need to have that fitted to your car. But all Model 3s, if it's sorry, we'll go back to the screen. If it's the orange if it's the orange icons,
yeah,
in fact, we'll just declutter this. All the orange icons, their cables are self-contained.
Okay.
And actually, since John is in the room, a shout out to him for the Caltex Jurien Bay, which is something that he installed. I was going to say himself, but I gave him a hand. But then he's certainly provided all the logistics and the actual unit itself. And that's actually a bio. It's a waste vegetable oil powered fast DC charger, and that's at Caltex Jurien Bay. And then Tokwa has got Western Australia's most northerly fast DC charger at the moment, which is at the in the harbour, Geraldton Harbour. So you could say that they're, out of all of Western Australia, the two most northerly chargers are effectively privately owned or provided.
And just look at what Tasmania has got compared to us.
I know, Nigel. It's
sickening.
It's funny, when I was going to go, when I went around Australia and I was trying to get to Tasmania, there were none, and now they're girt by it. I mean, they're so close together. You could do that in a day.
That's awesome, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And of course, the best one is in Devonport, which is a 250 kilowatt each supercharger, 3 superchargers in a row, 250 kilowatts.
Is that the newest one in Australia?
Yes. No, I think Colac is the newest. This was a couple of weeks ago. And this will charge your Model 3 depending on its rate of, depending on how flat it is, but if it's fairly low state of charge, it'll charge your Model 3 for a little while at about 1,600 kilometers per hour for at least a few minutes.
So how do you pay for this charging?
That's really easy because you will have your, well, actually, you may or may not have a credit card attached to your My Tesla account. So that's an awesome question. So go into your My Tesla account, and I think there is a section, if you log in on a computer using your email address and password, not your Tesla app. And if you log in, I think there is a section to update or provide a credit card. I think you might be able to, if you haven't done that, they may let you supercharge once. I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah, and then you get a message saying you need to attach a credit card or you won't be able to do ever again.
Actually, if your credit card, keep an eye on your credit card, because if your credit card expires, it won't let you charge. So you'll have to, and you won't be able to do it through the app. So you'll have to go through a browser, as Harold said, and change your credit card details before you'll be able to charge.
So even if it is not Tesla charger, for an example, Curtin University, which is closest to me, still it will be charged with the Tesla's account credit card?
No. So
then how does that work?
Okay, so for instance, we'll look up the Curtin charger, because to be honest, I haven't been there. because I misread the writing, and I thought it meant per kilowatt hour, and actually it's not. So it's actually quite cheap. The curtain charger. So what you do is look on PlugShare. The charger itself probably has instructions, and in the details, you know what it might be.
See if you can zoom in on one of the photos. Yeah.
I tell you what, I think what it is you just pay for parking and the charging is free.
I don't know about that one, but basically all the others, you need to have a ChargeFox app or a NextCharge app, and you've got your credit card details registered in there. And just remember, if you use the ChargeFox app and you've got an RAC membership, log that into the app as well, because you get a nice discount on those fees.
For all to use, I think that's actually the charge. I think that's the parking fee. So I think you need to use, I think that's a Cello Park.
Good work, Nigel.
So you can use the QR code.
Yeah, I've got Cello Park because my daughter goes to Curtin, so I've already got that.
Yeah, and if you don't, you just put your camera onto the onto the QR code, which might actually work.
Okay. I just checked, and yeah, I've got my credit card linked to my Tesla account.
Yeah.
So if you use a Tesla charger, it'll just charge it to your credit card linked to your Tesla account.
Supercharger, yes, supercharger.
Why did you say supercharger when I said Tesla charger?
Oh, sorry.
Are there different types of Tesla chargers?
Yeah, sorry, I was being pedantic. I was being precise, and that's.
Well, no, I'd prefer that.
Yeah. There's one supercharger, which is a Tesla charger, but there are also what they call destination chargers, and they are customarily free for customers. So, for instance, if I just bring up PlugShare and we go Tesla and we look at, let's just pick anything, Edgecombe Brothers Winery in Nangara. So there are 2 Tesla destination charges, and it doesn't actually say here. Actually, if you look on your screen in your car, when you get your car, and you click on the little lightning symbol on your screen, it will show all the Tesla known chargers, which is either the supercharger, which will be like a red pin.
Yep.
Or if it's a destination charger, it'll be a grey pin or dark grey pin. And when you click on it, you can navigate to it, and it'll give you details. And it usually says, it'll say what power is available, which can be good information sometimes, because, for instance, in Albany, there are a couple of destination chargers that are very low power. Some are as low as, I think, 3 or 4 kilowatts or 2 kilowatts. They're very, very low powered, whereas others, you can get the whole 11 kilowatts. What's the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, so there is a difference. So those ones, there's no method at the moment for Tesla or for you to pay the owner of that charger for the electricity. So it's either done privately. So some places will just ask for money, or if you're a customer of theirs, then they're happy for you to charge for nothing.
Oh, okay.
But the supercharger, which is in Eaton, that the payment for that is automatic. Or it's done automatically by the car and by your Tesla account, providing you've got a credit card connected to it. Or if you had used a referral code when you ordered your car, you would then be entitled to 1,500 kilometers of free supercharging for about a 6-month period or so. Yeah, and that's it basically. But for the other charging locations, the other fast DC chargers, you'll need an app such as ChargeFox or NextCharge, which we mentioned earlier. But I think it just happens, Sareth, that the Curtin one, I think it's highly likely that as long as you pay for parking, I don't think there's a cost for the charging.
Yeah, only thing I don't want to go there and then struggling to find the way to pay the fees and then not being able to park it. So I just want to be absolutely sure the exact mechanism. So do you know who to contact on this? Can I contact the universities? Normally don't respond to these sort of things. Don't know who to contact even, isn't it? To be absolutely sure.
In fact,
I mean, you can try and see if there's a number on PlugShare, but if you can try Curtin Uni, but
actually, I'm certain. Sorry, Pete. I'm certain. If you look at some of these, it says free charge whilst walking the dog. Now that was on the 5th of June, and this is $1 per hour on weekends. So it's clearly you don't pay for charging, you pay for parking.
Okay.
Clearly.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not going to suggest that if you just sat in your car, that's not technically parking, that's called standing.
Yeah.
That's my evil self saying that, and I didn't. And I take it all back.
So you park the car and come home, right? Because it takes about a couple of hours, or not couple of hours, maybe 3-4 hours.
Well, there are offences such as, there are signs that say no parking, and there are signs that say no standing, or now they say no stopping.
Yeah.
And if you're a Philadelphia lawyer, you could probably argue that you weren't parking there, you were just standing there.
Standing, yeah, that's right.
But anyway.
But also, Sareth, from a etiquette point of view, if that's your local charger, you don't really want to be going there every day and leaving your car there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because, really it's there to, for students or for anyone attending the uni to be able to charge opportunistically as and when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rather than for people that obviously live in the area to leave their car there for half a day to save a few cents. So also, if you're going to be doing that, you don't have to, but you can log in on the PlugShare app so that if someone's traveling to that charger from a distance, they can check to see if it's occupied or not.
Right.
Nothing worse than going to a charger with hardly any charge left in your battery, only to realise that there's someone who's parked there and they're not going to be back for the next 4 hours. There's also a website called needtocharge.com, and you can download a QR code which you can put on your dashboard, and that way if someone else comes to your car while you've got your car charging there, they can scan that with their phone. It will take them to the website, and without your email address being revealed, they can press a button and it will email you to tell you that there's someone else that would like to charge.
I think it actually sends you an SMS message
rather
than an email. Yeah, because you have to supply your phone number. I've got that in my windscreen as well. I usually register on PlugShare, but I was talking to somebody on Sunday who doesn't use PlugShare. So, if I'm registered on PlugShare, he would come along and not know how to get a hold of me, but I've got that in the windscreen, and that way you don't have to stick your mobile phone number in the windscreen. So that, which is what he does. He just, I'll just leave my phone number there. Well, that's all very well and good. That's what I used to do, but I think that the need to charge QR code is much better idea.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty good actually. Something I forgot to mention in between or a couple of questions to do with Synergy with the solar and stuff is, do go onto Synergy's website and search EV tariff. So this is for everyone who hasn't heard of this yet. it doesn't matter what solar plan you're on. If you get the EV tariff with Synergy, you will get a 30% discount for power supply to your house between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. And if you've got solar panels, you'll still get the rebates and all that sort of stuff that you normally get. So there's no penalty. There is obviously another tariff, which is the smart power tariff, but that
smart home plan.
Smart home plan, sorry.
Yeah, smart power is a different one. Yeah.
And that's got a real sting in the tail. That's got a discount. It's actually 15 cents a kilowatt hour, roughly, from 9 till.
From 3 to 9, isn't it?
No, 15 cents from 9 p.m. till 6 or 7 a.m. Then the standard 28 cents from 6 or 7 a.m. till 3 p.m., which is all cool. And then it has 51 cent tariff, roughly, or 50 or 51, from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And guess when everyone gets home and cooks dinner and turns their air cons on a hot summer's night is exactly then. So unless you've got battery storage which can ride through, that's you've got to do your numbers on that very carefully. But Synergy's.
I was just gonna chime in there. Yeah, Harold, you've said it before I could get to it. Yeah, if you've got, I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, only if you've got a Powerwall or something, a decent amount of storage, because if you don't, you're going to get hammered.
You're going to get smashed, because you're going to absolutely get smashed.
So saying that we had the Tesla in our rental for 3 years, and we couldn't put solar or battery storage on, and we had it then. But I probably was quite different in that I installed efficient LED lighting in our rental, and I actually left it there for the next tenant. So that cost a few $100, which I guess most tenants probably never really do. But and bought a Sony Bravia really efficient TV, and then we just set like the dishwasher and washing machine to come on at 9 o'clock. So I'd say that it actually worked for us, even though we didn't have a battery. Like, we were just sort of careful with our usage in the evening. I guess we were probably cooking with gas then as well. We had no option to remove it, so I guess we would tend to use the gas and that for cooking, for the oven and cooktop, during that evening phase. So I guess in that circumstance, and then it just meant that we could charge the car cheaply overnight and do all of our washing and all that. So I would say it's not undoable if you're careful, and if you change all your lighting and use energy efficient appliances. But just be aware that you will get smashed and run the risk of a big bill.
The big one that will get you between 3 and 9 is your HVAC, so your aircon or your heating. So in summer, if you turn your air conditioning and heating is usually the biggest power draw for most in WA. So if you've got an air conditioner and if you need to run it, during summer and that will choose.
I think we did. Yeah, we certainly didn't use more gas than we needed to. For heating. Oh yeah, no, I know it had 2 aircon units, but we tend to go to bed at 9 o'clock anyway, and then crank the heating on overnight or the cooling on overnight. So it kind of worked all right. But absolutely. If you've got a bigger place, then that was only a small place. Then it could get out of control.
Because the cheapest, the smallest split that you can get uses about 1,200 watts, something like that. So that will cost you 60 cents an hour or something like that. Or if you've got a ducted aircon, like an old one, like we have, unfortunately, without an inverter, so that other is completely off. And that uses 13 kilowatts.
Well, the aircon splits that Harold recommended to me a while ago, and which I installed 5 of our house, are so efficient. I swear they're like 600 watts. Just incredible things. But they're brand new and typically not what's really installed. So
but with my ducted aircon, that's about $6.50. to run.
Ooh.
So if you run your aircon for 2 or 3 hours a night in summer, that's $8 a night, $20 a night. Yeah, it will add up.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
Well, what's that saying? That I think any air conditioner that's more than 10 years old is relatively inefficient compared to the new ones.
That's why we try and basically we hardly ever turn it on. So we open the windows in at night in summer and close them in the morning, and vice versa in winter.
Cool. So has anyone else got any other questions or anything? Raj, you're all good. And Barry, well, you haven't got your car yet, so it's all...
No, I haven't got the car. So it's all very useful listening to that. But,
well, now, one thing you wouldn't have heard, although I think Saref sort of mentioned it obliquely, was last week we warned Saref that when he got his car, the delivery process is going to be very rapid.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that on someone posted online saying it was all done and dusted in something stupid like 3 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Very quick.
Yes, and yeah.
I must admit, when I went for the test drive, I didn't know how to turn cruise control on. So I was fiddling around and in the end we had to pull over and pull up the manual on the car and find out how to do it. And
yeah. I don't know what we can do. Normally I write nice reviews for many things, but I am hesitant to write a review about this because it is going to be a negative review. Rather, I shouldn't do it. I just keep quiet.
Actually, no. Sorry to interrupt you there, Saref. If that's the way you feel and that's the way you ought to feel, then it's actually vital for you to send that feedback back to Tesla, because as we all know, positive feedback is useless in a business because it just says keep doing what you're doing. What's vitally important is if you have let's call it a negative experience or a suboptimal experience or an inadequate experience, they'll never change what they do unless people say so. And I know the Australian way is if you have bad service somewhere, you just sort of take it quietly and you go. Yes. Now, I'm gonna resist calling you Renee because you need to change your name.
I know. I've got to change it to Jared. I picked up my car last Friday, and it was probably a very interesting experience, shall I say? After spending over $100,000 on a vehicle, to be sort of pushed out the door like I just bought a ShamWow.
I know.
$50 or something. That's what it felt like. And I've made the one dickhead call for the phone call to Harry this week, which was the old, I've only got a reverse light on one side of the car, and him to come back and say, well, you were number 4. And I'm like, number 4, what do you mean? He goes,
number 4 today.
Fourth person today that rang me to say, you've only got a reverse light on one side of the car after going over the car and checking it. They delivered the car. It was all done within probably about 4 or 5 minutes. It felt nothing like when I received my Toyota Sahara, which the salesman fell in love with me.
Yeah.
It was very much in and out, pretty quick process, which I guess if that's how they're trying to treat their customers, that's probably the only sour taste in my mouth. As I said to Harry, I said the best thing you should have done is told me about the Tesla owners group, right at the start. You would have saved yourself 25 phone calls, number one, of all stupid questions that I've asked you, and I'm sure the same people asking the same questions.
Yeah.
And as I said to him, what they should do is when you pay your $150 to join, to sign up for a car, you should actually pay $170 and have an automatic free membership to this club, which will actually answer 90% of the questions that they didn't answer for me when I got the car. And after test driving it the week before, and then the salesman ringing me going on the Monday, how was the drive, Jared? Did you enjoy it? Yes, I did. Leading to the assumption was, are you planning on looking at buying one? Well, I did that 5 months ago. I received it in 4 days. Too much to his shock to, why am I ringing this guy? Where did it fall down in communication? I couldn't understand why he was calling me, but yeah, that's another story. So, the vehicle itself, fantastic, love it. Have got no qualms about buying it. The brand, fantastic. The support group from this association, absolutely number one. Fantastic people. But as far as the bits and pieces more you wanted on the delivery day, not exactly 100%. Definitely something that I'll be writing in the comment review. They've asked me to write something up, so I'll certainly write something up. I think, if they're going to have a really nice building like they've got and great signage and great things, I think they just need to work a little bit more on the people. The week before that we went there to have a look at the car, my mother-in-law said, do they have a USB connection in there? The little Irish lady that works on the counter inside the shop said, no, there's no USB ports on there at all in the car. And I'm like, what? And then the other guy came across and went, no, there's 4. There's 2 here and 2 here. So there's obviously education, a lot of education needed to the staff that work there.
True.
Harry was a good salesman and a very, great guy. But yeah, I felt like I don't know, at a kid's party when the car was delivered, there was 6 other people picking up their car, and there was like 2 people that knew what was going on, and they were sort of running between all of us. And it was like, log your phone. You got any questions? Go check the car. See you later. Bye.
Is that a hand, Nigel? Is that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I totally agree with the collection routine is absolutely crap for the new person. They really do need to buck their ideas up. I was talking to one of them when I was up there saying, look, if you need any help, we've got members of TOCWA that would be more than happy. I'll come along and just go around and help people. Oh, you can't do that. It's not allowed. You've got workers safe.
Well, actually, Nigel, it's commonplace in the US because just like in the US, just like in Australia, in the US, a lot of the deliveries are done at the end of the quarter. And there's Tesla Owners Club members from the local clubs that do sometimes the majority of the handovers and the deliveries. So it's actually commonplace in the US.
I don't know if Australian law is a bit different, but they said, no, we're not allowed to do that. And I'm just going, well, you need to buck your ideas up there, really.
I think it might be the insurance legislations they are talking about, workers' cover and all that stuff, probably, yeah.
I think for someone who spends $110 or whatever it was, $1,000, I think you just want a little bit more extra feeling and touch and hugging when you pick the car up.
Absolutely.
I'll come and give you a hug then.
Oh yeah, I know, Nigel, you will. There's no problems about that. But yeah, I just thought they would just be a little bit more than It was all done in 4 minutes, I reckon.
I agree. When I've spent that sort of money on buying my BMWs in the past, you get an hour at least with the salesman going over it. But I'm just changing over one X5 for a new X5. Yes, sir, but I do want to make sure.
Shut up, Nigel.
Oh,
No,
look,
Go, John. Go, John.
If it makes you feel any better, when I got my Model 3 delivered in, I can't remember exactly when, I think it was September in 2019. Basically, after several weeks delays in the delivery date, getting pushed out several times, which really pissed everyone off. Then the car carrier turned up and the truck driver backed it off and parked it in my driveway, made me sign a bit of paper and disappeared. So it was less than a minute. So there was just nobody. How do you
That's
drive
what
this
happened
car?
to me.
Yeah,
And
I've heard
to me-
those stories already.
and to me, and my handover was over the phone. Literally a minute after the truck driver left, I got a phone call saying, "This is how you connect your phone to the car. Are you okay with it? Can I leave it with you now?" So it was actually done over the phone. It was 10 or 20 seconds.
Well, John's experience was even worse because he had to do that to get the handover, to get the app, to get the car transferred to his app on his phone. But of course, it was in the afternoon and it was daylight saving time.
So they were
Steve
gone.
had already gone to bed and there was no chance of doing it that day. So he had to rely on his key card to run the car, and he had zero app access.
Yeah.
Can I suggest something here? Can I suggest something here for the associations to consider? I don't know whether it makes sense or not. Now, people like myself, I really sometimes needed some help. Now, there are a lot of people have same sentiments, how they were treated, the knowledge they have got, they were rushed like nothing. And we have to learn right from the beginning. Is there any way where the association can extend the services for the members, even for a small fee, to help them to set these things up and make themselves comfortable with the car and give that sort of service? Is it a possibility?
Well,
I'm sure we can do that.
We do, Suresh. So I've left my phone number. Actually, I'll put it in again.
You did that. Yeah.
Yeah. You ring me, and if I'm too busy, I can pass you on to others.
Sure.
But that's exactly what we're here for. And there are many of us, Pete included, and others, and you know, Nigel, depending on where anyone is, we're only too happy to do that.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
We do it lovingly and for free, and we don't want payment because we just want everyone to enjoy their cars. And we want
actually
so many
gonna-
Teslas that it's just, you know, sorry, Joe, you guys have
So we're actually doing, well, I'm not, as I'm working, Seb's doing that on Thursday. It's actually someone he knows, but an ex-colleague is, after going for a test drive in our car, bought a Tesla, is picking it up on Thursday. And Seb's actually going to meet him up at the, right up at Osborne Park, which is quite far away from us, but he's going up there. But from what you said, maybe he should be meeting him around the corner rather than actually on the thing. And then as soon as he's got it, Seb will then go through the car with him and show him all the stuff that we've been talking about today. It's a
That's
bit
great.
different to someone we know, but yeah, that's what we're doing. So
Now, just one thing, everything that Jared said and, you know, the experiences that we've all had, not trying to discount any of that in any shape or form, but just in Tesla's defense, or at least in the defense of the guys working at the store, they've got to deliver 300 cars this month. And it's just the way Tesla does the deliveries. They produce the overseas cars at the beginning of the quarter and deliver them all at the end of the quarter. Last quarter, they only had half as many cars to deliver at the end of the quarter. Now they've got, 300 in WA and about, 1,500 Australia-wide. And they've still got to keep up with, service, customer inquiries, test drives and all the rest of it. So in their defense, they're absolutely run off their feet. But yeah.
So Pete, really, surely they can just put on more people. It's time to, if you're going to be delivering that many cars, you put on more people. You start training more people up. You don't.
And they have. When I got my car, there was really just James and Harry, and then Adam, and now there's about 12 or 13 guys there. So that's in the space of, less than 18 months. So they've, quadrupled their sales force in 18 months. And I know they're still, recruiting, but yeah, I absolutely agree, Jared.
Yeah, there was 3 of them there when I picked up my car, and there was 6 people picking their cars up at the same time.
Yeah,
and I had to wait longer because there was no plates on my car.
Yeah,
there was no number plates on the car. Somebody was rushing from the licensing centre to pick up plates to race them back onto my car.
And
Even so, that was sorted out weeks before with texts and emails and texts and yeah. So.
And there's a good chance there would have been more than 3 people at the store. There might have been 3 people at the other side bringing cars to the store.
No,
Because there is a,
yeah, they could have been, but at the time when I was there at 9:30, there was 3 of them there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, there should
very much. It was very much like one guy would. It was basically, you know, like a circus leader of a circus, and 2 other guys pointing him to which way to go. That was pretty much how it was. You know, it was Harry was in the middle running the show, and then it was 2 other guys running around, you know, doing bits and pieces. But it was pretty much your keys were sitting on the windscreen of the car, and that was it. Log in your phone. Thank you very much. Drive away. Have a great day. See you later.
Now, one other thing they can do is leave a TopCorp brochure, and Harold has passed on TopCorp brochures to the guys there in Aussie Park. Is, you know, at least if you know, after the 3 minutes you've driven your car off, and then you're sort of exploring your car, you're wondering, you know, if you come across that brochure, you know, that's, I think, the least they could do.
Yeah, like I said to Harry on the day, you know, the best thing that he should be doing is telling people about this club. It would save him a lot of headaches. Like his phone would just be cut in half with the amount of questions that can be answered. You know, not everyone knows about certain things, and they need questions answered. And when you ring Harry, he does answer the phone. I'll give him that. He certainly answers. But you know, you feel like when you ask him that question, it's the 5th question for the day, the same question from somewhere else. But he could just cut that out right at the start. When you ordered that car back in January, when I ordered it, hey, Jared, you need to join this club. It's $20. They'll answer all your questions. They do this meeting. You do this, and you can find everything you want. I'd go, great. Because, you know, you don't really want to be ringing Harry every day to ask him 15 questions. And when I spoke to him most days, everything was very short. So I felt I could only ask maybe 2 questions. That was it. And I had 15, you know?
Yeah.
We are getting closer. For instance, this is our basically Tesla-based website, which they call Engage Tesla. So it's actually a proper domain of Tesla's, and obviously our club's on it. So that's an example of us getting closer to Tesla. But as Peter said, many owners clubs participate in that end of quarter rush, actually at the behest of Elon Musk himself, who responded to someone who offered to help out, and he said, yeah, that would be great. So we are trying, and we are sort of, you know.
Well, I'm certainly going to mention in my comments to Tesla about this situation.
And that's awesome. And obviously, you know, I wouldn't say we're conflicted, but it sounds a bit twee if we sort of keep saying to Tesla, you know, all the new owners need us. It's better if the new owners who are sort of independent say, hey, it's great for other owners to have the ability to engage with the club and get that benefit.
Yeah.
So it sounds better from you than from us.
Yeah, true.
So
also to clarify, we're a officially sanctioned club by Tesla.
Yeah.
So it's not like you know, maybe you can elaborate on that a bit more, Harold.
Oh, well, for instance, if you look up on Twitter, if you look up Tesla's supercharging, something like that, it's you'll actually notice that they follow every single sanctioned owners club. So our Twitter handle is at Tesla_WA, and you'll see that we are actually followed by Tesla's supercharger Twitter handle. So to be a properly sanctioned club, we've got to do things like we've got to be properly incorporated, we've got to have insurance, we've got to abide by Tesla's terms and conditions. The actual logo, which I must admit, that logo that's to the left is actually the old one, which I've got to update. But that logo, we're actually sanctioned, and we have an actual copyright usage agreement to use that logo. So that's what they allow us to use. But we have to abide by all their rules. We've got to, obviously act properly and in Tesla's interest and in Tesla's owners' interest. We've got to be non-profit. We're not here to commercialize anything. We're just here for the benefit of Tesla and the owners, and to also advance Tesla's objectives, which is to advance the advent of sustainable energy and transport. I forget the exact, how's it go, Pete? Advance sustainable energy and...
No, it doesn't have advance in it.
Oh, that's a bit embarrassing, but anyway, it's... to something
accelerate transition to sustainable energy.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope that the next person that spends 100 grand with them in the future, maybe they just gives them a little bit more than 3 minutes, because my customers, that when they deal with me and they spend over up to that kind of money, I do spend a bit more time with them than 3 minutes. And say thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate the business.
I think one issue they have is that the retail outlet is expected to turn over a certain number of test drives per week.
Mm.
And I think, unfortunately, Tesla is considering deliveries as a chore that needs to be done at the end of that process, that oughtn't interfere with their normal process. Which, if it happens smoothly, like the problem is this quarterly rush. So, there's a very good reason why all these cars are coming in towards the end of this quarter, because that's how Tesla operates. Because the cars come from Shanghai, they were all built in April, probably, or very early May, and they all get shipped en masse at the start of the quarter, so they can be delivered worldwide by the end of the quarter. And I think there's also news from Europe where there's another mass shipment from Shanghai to Europe. So the thing then is, so rather than delivering, 6 cars a day or 5 cars a day every day, they deliver 300 cars in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, rather than spreading it over 3 months. So, but that's just...
Hey, Harold, Tom's got a question, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, look, there's 2 things. First of all, I want to talk about a spare tyre and an extra cable in a moment, but I just want to tell you part of what, and I think this is instructive, part of why I suddenly decided after 5 years of waiting for my Tesla that I was going to actually get off my ass and buy it. And part of the reason was that we sent our car in, we had an Audi, we sent it in to have a couple of things that it was just under 5 years old, and it needed a couple of warranty things sorted out. And while it was in there, of course, it was a free service. And as you would expect, we got told that we needed 2 front tyres changed, and that there was a need to have all the wheels aligned. And we'd also asked about a particular part we'd broken, which was a cup holder. We were given a price of $1,000 for 2 front tyres, which I had a fair idea was about $500 worth of tyres, and I had that confirmed from Bob Jane. We got given a price for $1,000 for four wheel alignments, and I had a fair idea that was a bit out of the park. and got a price from Bob Jane of $78. And we got a price of $1,400 for a cup holder, which was the absolute clincher. And I said to Kristen, I said, look, we're never going to change the business model of Audi. Audi are selling us a service, and it doesn't matter how many cars they're selling, they're going to be selling the service. And you're going to be paying $1,400 for cup holders as long as you've got an arse that points to the ground. So I just sort of thought that, well, you know, Tesla sell fridges. They pump the fridges out. They don't want to see you either before or after or any time during the sale of the fridge. And just get over it, guys. That's what they're doing. They're selling a bloody fridge and we're stuck with it. And so we've gone and bought a white good, and that's the different business. That's a different business model, and it does take a bit of getting used to. So I've got that off my chest. I just thought it was time to stop all the going around in circles, because we're not being honest about what we're doing here. You know, we're buying a fridge, it's got an electric motor, it's easy, it has a bathtub curve, it either fails on day one or it fails right at the end of its life. Look, Harry, what I was really...
Tom, if I can just quickly interject and to second your point, another issue that Tesla has is, unlike any other car manufacturer, they don't have a demand problem, they have a supply problem. And that changes the customer dynamics a little bit as well. So, you know, I mean, they haven't spent a cent on advertising, and they'll probably sell close to 1 million cars this year. So, and probably, you know, close to 1.5 million cars next year. So, yeah, so that changes the dynamics as well. But yeah, what you said there, that's right as well. But I still wouldn't discount what Jared has said, because at the end of the day, a customer is used to being pampered when they buy a $100,000 car, and they should get a little bit of pampering for at least 10 minutes rather than being kicked on your merry way.
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't at all. Look, all I'm just saying is that it's not all buddy wine and roses on the other side either. Look, Harold, what I was chasing was that I want to go to Albany this weekend, and I'm heading off to Port Hedland tomorrow, so I've got a pretty short time, but Kristen's around, and I was wondering if we could arrange to pick up a spare tyre and a next, you know, like a cable for hooking into something, because Albany, you know, I might not be able to find a 3-phase cable anywhere. So I'm just wondering if I can borrow either a spare tyre or a cable or both, but I'm not sure.
Tom, whereabouts in Perth are you roughly?
I live in Nedlands.
Okay, so Harold might be closer to you, I think.
Right, so when are you going to Albany?
I want to leave Saturday morning if I can, but Kristen's around tomorrow and Friday, and she can go anywhere to pick up anything.
Yeah, cool. So I don't know if you see in chat, my phone number's there. So give me a call anytime. We've got the I've got the modern spare. Sorry, you do have a Model 3, obviously, Tom.
Yeah, Model 3, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got the Model 3 spare tyre. It comes in a bag with jack, the whole kit and caboodle.
And Harold, sorry, you've got the modern spare, so it doesn't matter even if he has the performance that fits all 3 models.
Yep, exactly, yep. Now, as far as charging goes, quite quickly, I'll show you. So obviously we're in Perth, and
I'm going to stop at Kojonup and Williams, yeah.
Yes, so you can stop at Williams at the Woolshed if you like. Sorry, have you got a SR Plus or a long range?
Long range.
Long range.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you want to stop at Williams, by all means, feel free to. You know,
I will, just for the experience of checking out what's there, and also for the comfort
great.
of
Yes.
knowing I'm going to get there.
And Tom, while you're there, so that photo that Harold has, that's the front. If you actually walk around to the other side, to the back, you'll see the beginnings of the new supercharger. So if you're there, if you wouldn't mind maybe taking some photos, so we have some updated photos on the progress there.
Yep, happy to do that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, do that. That's basically.
I know where the bullshit is. I mean, I'm an Albany boy, so I know exactly what.
Yeah, no. What I mean is, what Pete's referring to is actually the charge is not there. We should move that. In fact, it's actually here.
Yeah, I can see that from the photo.
Yep. So where the superchargers are is just over here.
Oh yeah.
So you'll see conduit coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
Just here where those trees are. So yeah, if you that'd be awesome if, as Pete suggests, if you could take a photo.
Yep.
Actually, by the way, I'll just move this because it's actually there. And at least that.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it hasn't. Oh, has that moved?
A little bit, not much.
A little bit.
Maybe you can zoom in a little bit more on that edit screen.
And we'll go satellite.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's it.
Because I'm a little bit of a pin Nazi. I always make sure the pins are exactly right because there's nothing more stressful than not exactly knowing where something is. So you've got the wool shed, and then you've got Kojonup. So
Yeah.
the wool shed
I've been
is
to Codger Place, so I'm familiar with Kojonup. Yeah.
so there's the fast DC charger, and what you do, which I'm going to do right this second, is you can see that on the 8th of June, which is yesterday, someone has used it successfully. So there's very high confidence that this will be working when you use it on Saturday. So having done that, I think I mentioned, I can't remember if you were on before.
Yeah.
Depending on where you go, there is at the visitor centre.
Yep.
Is a HPWC. So that is a Tesla high power wall connector. So you don't need a lead. So you can certainly charge up there. How long are you in Albany for?
I'll be there for 3 days.
Okay, so obviously you can also use the 10 amp UMC. So you can plug your universal mobile connector with the tail into a 10 amp outlet, and that will gain 120 kilometers overnight.
Yep.
Are you staying in a hotel or anything like near a destination charger in Albany?
Now I'm staying at the beach house at Bayside, and I know the people, so I've told them, and I'm taking a 30 meter 10 amp cable with me, or it's actually a 30 meter 15 amp, but I've only got 10 amp that hooks on the end of it, and that'll I'll be able to use that. But you can imagine I'm a bit nervous about that, because that's what I use at home, because I'm building a new house and I'm putting three phase into the new house, but I'm a bit reluctant to spend money doing that here. The fact is I've got limited options in Albany, and if I need to charge up quickly, I'd really like to be able to hook into 3 phase somewhere. So
so the Albany Visitor Centre is 11 kilowatts. So that will charge your car at about 70 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, but that's the only one that I'm aware of. The other one, if you go out to Arana, I think I need a cable out at Arana.
Sorry, where's Arana?
It's heading out. It's I'm pointing, of course, which is no help, but it's north. It's north on Albany Highway.
Yep.
Right. Down south of there. Keep going south. Keep going south. Where you see Arana, you've just seen it there.
Oh yeah. I can see it. Just zoom in a bit more, Harold. There you go. You've got it just above
there.
NT.
Yes. Got it. Same. Okay, so
I think the Arana is the only other one that's got decent charge.
I've just put on 3-phase and there's nothing there.
What's the one at Mount Melville? What's that? I don't know what that one is.
No, that's the Country Comfort Amity Motel.
Yeah, no, I can't.
And there's a Curry Leaf Indian restaurant. So that one, that's just at the side of the hotel. And one little pro tip: if this bay is taken up, because there's actually a destination charger just there, if that bay is taken up, you can do what I did a couple of years ago, and just park in the driveway, and the cable just reaches to the back of the car.
Right.
Now that's at the Country Comfort Amity Hotel. So if you're into Indian food, the curry leaf is quite nice. Now that's also 11 kilowatts, where you'll charge your car at the full rate, as will the visitor centre. Now the thing is, if you were there for say 3 hours, you're getting 210 Ks.
Yeah.
Which is more than enough to get back to Kojonup.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what it's like. You're busy, you've got a lot to do, and you've got to get down there. So you don't think I'll need a special cable at all?
There actually is no 3-phase charging down there. So it would be a waste, because unless you knew someone that had a 3-phase 32 amp outlet. Now, if you do, you can borrow a adapter from the club, but in this case in Albany, there really isn't. The most useful one would be the visitor centre.
Yeah, no, I plan to go to the visitor centre. That's top of my charts. But I'll get Kristen to. I had a look on the chat. I couldn't find your number, but I think I've got it in my phone, and I'll get Kristen to follow up and grab the spare tire off you.
That's all right. I just put it up. So.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Yeah, lots of ones in it.
That's the one. Yep.
Another thing to mention, always, especially if you're doing this sort of driving out of Perth, always think about having a plan B. So don't just rely on that one charger, because A, it could be occupied, 2, it could be out of action, or there could be, other circumstances. So always have a plan B. And there's also the ABC rule, which stands for always be charging. Yeah. So when you've got a chance, always be charging. It also stands for always browse comments. So that refers to the PlugShare app, to have a look at the comments, especially of anyone of whoever was there last at that charger. And the idea of the PlugShare app is to, leave useful comments for the next guy or girl if there's something useful to say.
Yeah, no, thanks, Pete. That's why I'm going to stop at Williams, and I'm going to stop at Codger Place, because I really want to make sure. I mean, I can make it in one run. I'm very confident of that. From the trips I've done so far, I'm very confident we can make it all the way to Albany. But we would be absolutely dry when we got there, and you've got no options. So we'll do that.
Bear in mind that Codger Place, that's a 50 kilowatt charger that will charge your car at 300 kilometers per hour.
Yep.
So if you spent half an hour, you'd probably be getting close to being almost full again.
Yeah.
At Kojonup, obviously you're going to deplete from Kojonup to Albany, obviously, but it's actually a pretty good route these days, particularly with that fast DC charger at Kojonup.
Yeah. Actually, we could elaborate on that. You should probably even have a plan C, as we found out when there was a local power outage at Eaton. So that supercharger went out, but it also knocked out the Treendale, well, not supercharger, but effectively ultra fast DC charger, the 350 kilowatt, up the road. So in that situation, whoever was there at that time would have needed a plan C. So that it's rare, but doesn't mean it can't happen.
Now, what you can do too, you've got a long range Model 3. So overnight, set your car to 90% and charge it 90% overnight. But when you first wake up, just set the slider on your phone app, like keep your car's already plugged in overnight. And then on your phone app, just move the charge slider to 100% while you're getting ready, having breakfast or whatever. And in the half hour, 3/4 of an hour of charging time, your car will get to somewhere like 98, 97%.
Yeah.
So
already part of the plan, Harold.
Cool.
And actually, another thing you can do, Tom, is if you're leaving early in the morning and this time of year it's fairly cold, what you can do is preheat your cabin and even turn your seat warmers on from the app while the car's still on charge. And that way you're charging it off the mains rather than off the battery once you're driving. So that will give you a little bit more range as well.
Yep.
And it's more efficient to heat the cabin or to heat yourself using the seat heaters rather than the fan too.
Yep. Very good.
Yes, I did that in Switzerland. It was winter, and we had some huge range anxiety on an old Model S that we rented. So we just put the seat heaters on and the aircon off, and I swear the cabin must have been 2 or 3 degrees. But our bottoms and back were nice and toasty warm, but everything else was a bit cool. But it does work. It does work.
Actually, on that point, Harold, I've got a question. Pretty sure the Shanghai-made Model 3s now come with the steering wheel heater.
Correct.
Thank you, Jared. Now, is that disabled for Australia, or does your car have that, Jared?
Mod has it. Yeah, it's got it.
Nice.
How
Okay, good.
awesome is that to have toasty warm hands in the freezing cold?
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's
and the
good
seat warmers are very quick, very quick.
And there's 3 levels that you can set them to.
Correct. Yeah, you basically got to back them off after the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, true.
Unless you got an egg in the passenger seat next to you. But
You can have 1 sausage, 2 sausages, or 3.
yeah, and then you can put some steaks in the back seats and control them as well. And that's incredible, that one. Yeah, it does have that exhaust fan option. So
on the SR Plus, is that still an option that can be unlocked through the app for the reseat heaters? It is, Nigel. Okay.
I was just looking at the app. I'm not sure how to turn the heated seats on from the app, but
just go to climate. So go to climate in the main menu.
Yep, I get that.
And when you press on climate in the bottom right-hand corner, First I want to press turn on climate or change the temperature.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see the 3 squiggly lines under each seat. And if you just touch those, it comes on at 3 bars, touch it again, 2 bars.
Yeah, not on this one. Is it on this one, Pete?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Where's the squiggly lines?
So they should be grayed out, but they should be under each one of the seats. They are, at least on my app.
I don't think you can do heated seats from the app, can you?
No, you can't.
It must be a
That's what mine-
performance thing.
Ah,
Okay, you don't have them. Yeah, right. Because I can definitely do it with mine. So yeah,
Jared,
okay.
you've got a performance, haven't you?
I do. This is a performance, yeah.
In mine, it says when you.
No,
when
no,
you
hang on,
put
hang on. Jared, just put the app up again. Sorry.
Yep.
You got to
A
turn
little bit
climate
higher.
on.
A little bit higher. Yeah, you got to turn on climate.
Turn on climate. Okay.
And can you see
Oh,
they
yeah,
appear-
now I've got it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And now
There you
now
go.
press on.
And you got the steering wheel. I just saw that. Put
Yeah,
the
you got the steering wheel as well.
Put it
Oh
on
wow.
the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Touch it. Make it
Oh,
red.
very cool.
That's actually the hot dog oven.
No, Jared.
Yeah.
Just turn the steering wheel heater on. Oh,
Oh, you just made us all jealous, Jared.
just got steering wheel envy.
Oh, I didn't even know how I could do that. There you go. Learn
Tell us
something.
again. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's why you watch this. The other good thing I want to share with you today is the cover arrived today. The new cover that we put over the car, and it is amazing. Who would be excited about a cover, a Tesla cover? Me. Very good, very well made cover. Fantastic.
Is that the genuine Tesla one? Is it?
Yes, correct. Came in
Nice.
a genuine Tesla box with a genuine Tesla bag with a genuine Tesla. But the cover is really switched on because you can cover the car up but still plug the charger in. There's a little flap that opens up so you can still charge the car.
Oh, that's
and it's
clever.
an amazing material, very soft. It feels like a quilt.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sheraton made it or someone like that.
Well, see that hug that you missed during the handover, you can just wrap yourself in the cover now. Make up for it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one there, but it's black.
Oh, nice.
It's
think
all
they've got-
black and Tesla on the back and Tesla logo on the front, and then that
Nice.
flap on the corner that you can see
Oh,
that
yeah, I
opens
can
up.
see that. Yeah.
It's the indoor one. That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, nice.
So
So there's the
keeps,
flap.
keeps it good. Yeah, it's perfect. Really thought out.
And is it
So
stretchy?
it's
Is it
on.
stretchy? Is it stretchy, Jared?
Yeah, it's got elastic. It's got elastic, and that down the bottom of the car is a vent. There's actually a breathing vent down there.
Yeah, that's for the
wow.
aircon. Yep.
Yeah, it's so you can have it covered up and turn the aircon on, I guess.
Jeez, they thought of everything, haven't they?
Oh, they have. You know, who would be excited about a cover? But that cover's amazing. That's a next level cover. It's worth the money. Trust me. It's very impressive.
See, that just proves Elon's whole, the idea of why spend money on marketing, just make the product better and it will market itself. And
Exactly.
Jared has just marketed it for him.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't use the car every day. You know, we will use it on the weekends, but we want to keep it in great condition. And putting a cover on it, it's in a garage, but we want to keep the dust off it, the cat walking over it or something like that. So,
And the bird poop.
yeah, well, you know, anything that can get on it. So, you know, you can buy a super cheap one for $60 and it will probably do the same job, but the Tesla one is far more advanced in the way that it fits the car properly. It's easy to put on, and you can still charge it up if you need to charge it. So,
how much was it, Jared?
Don't know. I think it was I can't remember. You have to look at the website. That's Harold. He's the website king.
It was only $360. Totally worth it.
It was. It is definitely worth it. Once again, my policy in life: cry once and cry hard. I haven't started crying yet, but I'm getting onto it on this one. But yeah, it fits it so well. Like, you know, obviously somebody's really thought about it. So
Awesome.
you don't get excited about a cover, but yeah, you know,
It's pretty cool how it hugs the mirrors as well.
It's got little pockets for the mirrors.
Yeah.
You can close the mirror and open the mirror.
Yeah, right.
And it's also got, like I said, the charging flap and the vent for the aircon at the front.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
elastic at the bottom that pulls it tight as soon as you get it over the car.
Nice.
It just sits so easy. It's just
Fits like a glove.
Fits exactly like a glove. Someone's just done it really well.
It's sort of like mumble pants for the car.
Pretty much.
Active
If I could
gear.
get one for my Sahara, I'd buy one tomorrow too. But Toyota don't make that, so unfortunately.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Cool. So yeah, Tom, I think you're all sorted.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I might head for bed now, but Kristen will be in touch, Harold.
Yeah, no worries at all. I'll sort her out. That's all good. Have a great trip. Safe travels.
Thank you. Bye all.
see you, Tom.
See ya, Tom. Cool. Oh yeah, so Jared, you got to change your name, mate.
I know. I keep using my wife's computer, and I like to go under the alias of Renee. It makes me sound more French, and I start talking
Makes you sound French.
French Renee from France. Yeah, I'm driving a Volvo, electric Volvo.
Oh, is there any news in other cars?
Yeah, Volvo only making electric.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is, Harold.
Go, Pete.
Apparently, so Elon a few weeks ago now was interviewed about Apple making a car, and he basically said, look, if you're hiring thousands of engineers, pretty hard to keep it a secret. So obviously they are. And in the news today or yesterday, I thought I read somewhere that they approached, or there was a rumor that they were talking with CATL for battery supply.
Well, there you go.
Yes, good point, Pete. I did see that news item, but I sort of, Apple and whatever, it's not really.
It's not one to lead with. Yeah, it's not a story to lead with.
That's right.
Apple make good phones, good computers, but yeah, they don't make good fridges, and they
Actually, got to correct you there, Jared. They don't actually make anything.
Well,
True.
They
design
Yeah, true. Yeah, Foxconn in China.
Correct. But, even since Steve Jobs left, and the iPad was already in the works while he was still alive.
We talked about that on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So really the only thing that they've come up with was one of these, was the Apple Watch, which I would argue is probably their worst product, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the fact that you've got to charge it every day just is a bit sucky.
Yeah.
And the battery goes, unless you've got it tethered to your phone, it doesn't last very long.
How dare you, Pete? How dare you?
What was
I love
that?
my Apple Watch. It's the best thing ever. And it lasts for 2 days.
Getting rich.
Well, actually, one thing that's really brilliant about it, and this is the function that I use the most, is when you slide up on the main screen, which it won't do now, here we go, and press that little button, hear that? It finds the phone for you. I think I use that about 3 or 4 times every day because I always forget where I put my phone. So that's what I use my Apple Watch for the most, I reckon.
See, and look how useful it is.
Very useful, yes. But all of Apple's products are very useful. So I shouldn't have said that it's their worst product, but it's their least best product. Let me put it that way. But in my opinion.
Eventually,
it even tells the time.
No.
Amazing.
Oh, it doesn't even do that. Come on. Oh, it just disappeared. It's finally done and Nigel's already commented, so you can just enjoy the banter. They finally got their cardio, like ECG app approved
In Australia?
in Australia.
Oh, wow.
A few days ago,
Oh, excellent.
and it only took 3 years.
Yeah, well, we might even get the Apple Card soon. At this rate.
Well, there you go. Yes. So, and I know Nigel did generously tweet back to me and let me know that in Android land it was a similar case, but at least in Android land you could pretend to be somewhere else and that would let you.
Yeah, that's what I did. It's the Therapeutic and Goods Administration wouldn't allow it. The TGA, which is like the FDA in America, they wouldn't allow it here, but they obviously finally have. but I don't like Apple products. Haven't for some years now. So I've got a Samsung Galaxy Watch 3 or whatever, and I went to find the ECG app when I got it last year, and it said, no, not in Australia. So I said, well, bugger this, I'm in America, and installed it. I went onto my computer and downloaded it and moved it over to the watch and installed it, and it worked fine.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool because it's basically a one-wire ECG, and that's kind of hard to do, but they've worked it out.
With the Galaxy Watch, the back of it's on contact, and you have to hold your finger on one of the buttons, so it's a two-wire.
So no, it's a one. No, I think they class it as a one-wire because they just do. I remember that from the presentation, because basically you've got the Earth is underneath the watch, and then you've got to press this. Well, in the case of an iWatch, you press the side.
Yeah, I do the same. I
30 seconds.
Press the button there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a diagnostic ECG. It's more a rhythm strip.
I've actually got a Rolex watch that can give you a heart attack when you get the price tag. With it, it kind of works.
That's got the opposite function.
Yeah, it does a different thing. It gives you.
We need that little boom tish. We need little boom tish sounds.
And that's when you use your phone to charge your heart. It kicks it back in after you price tag of the Rolex watch.
Harold, Andy Jones has got a hand up.
Oh, Andy.
Hello. Hey, how you doing? So listen, I had a question about the Apple Watch. Do you guys use the watch for Tesla at all?
I've used it with Siri. So you can either use an app called what's it called? Stats. That's the one. Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, and you can set up shortcuts. Alternatively, there are some functions that you can use just directly through Siri. So so you can say, hey, I'll try now. Hey Siri, unlock car.
Okay, did.
There you go. So yeah, that's worked. So, and you can do that through the watch or the iPhone, but obviously you've got to have the Tesla app on your watch.
Cool. So the real question. Sorry.
Pete?
Sorry?
Can you say, hey Siri, open butthole?
Yes, it will open the flap, but let's try. I don't think Siri would stoop to that level, but because you can actually say the a-hole word as well, and it works with that too.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Hey Siri, open butthole.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat?
She's pretending she can't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, I use the Stats app as well, which is great when I'm carrying bags of shopping to the car, and I just tell the boot to open, which is awesome when it works.
So guys, the main reason I asked was because I've heard some people a little bit concerned about the fact that you have to log in to these third-party apps with using your Tesla credentials. Do you think there's any real concern about doing that kind of thing?
In my view, potentially. So what I did is, there are some really fantastic sort of new apps out there that can do some great things, but I've always been reticent about using them until I went online and on Twitter and saw others, basically researched to see if others in the Tesla community were using it. There's an app that I use which is called TezLab, TezLab, and I don't mind giving my credentials to that one because I know one of the guys that's behind it is a YouTuber. He's been in the Tesla community for a long time, and it's him and 2 or 3 others that have developed that one. So yeah, I feel comfortable in using that one. But yeah, if it was a new app that I've never heard of before, I wouldn't just install it and give it my credentials. But there is I wish Ken was still online. There is a way that you can give a third-party app access to your car without ever having to put a password into the app.
It's like
Yeah,
you're able to
it's called a token.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some people when they picked up their car the same day I picked up my car, had a set of his and hers rings with a Tesla logo on it from a third party.
That's Richard and Lindsay.
Richard Lindsay, yeah.
Richard Lindsay,
So cool.
Yeah.
I
I've never
had-
seen the rings before.
And the
I've
great
gone
story
through 2 of them already. One I lost, and the second one came apart a bit. But I've got the third one coming. But yeah, no, it's actually pretty cool. In that, obviously, it's completely waterproof, and you can do whatever you want with it. And if you wanted to go to the beach, let's say, and want to go for a swim, you can turn Bluetooth off, or maybe just lock the phone in your glove box and go for a swim or what have you, and come back, as long as you don't lose the ring in the surf. So yeah, it's pretty handy that way. There you go. Is that from Tesla's?
No,
Oh, no, that's Amazon. Yeah, cool. That's not the one that I have, but that looks very similar.
Yeah, he had a white. I think she had a white one, and he had a black one, I think.
Nice. You can also implant a chip under your skin if you want.
You know, there's
Just
actually
get a COVID vaccination. That'll do it. That'll give you.
There's a YouTube video of someone who actually
That's cool.
dissolved their card. I think they rewrapped the coil and then planted it in themselves. There is a YouTube video of someone doing that. There's like a lump under their skin on their hand.
I've definitely seen YouTube videos of people opening their Tesla with a chip under their skin. So I didn't know that that's how they did it, but
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a video.
The other Richard would probably know. What was his name? Richard
Cooper.
Cooper. He would know. He's got a gadget for everything. That man.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'll say is,
I'd kind of be inclined maybe to, I don't know, wouldn't be the craziest thing anyone's ever done. Be kind of cool.
One thing with the ring is they say that, let's say you have it on your index finger or your pinky, that all you need to do is put your knuckle to the A pillar that way, sorry, the B pillar that way, and that's sufficient distance. It never works. You actually have to physically touch it. And I get little bits, you've got to be careful so you don't scratch the B pillar, because it's all glass on that B pillar, and the ring is sort of a glassy material as well. But yeah, you do have to touch it. Yeah, doesn't work as well as they show in the video. Not the ring that I had anyway.
And it's really a solution looking for a problem, because everyone's got a mobile phone and the phone key works perfectly well. And you've always got the phone with you, so.
But there is that use case. If you go, for a swim to the beach, if you go jogging or whatever, and you don't necessarily want to have the phone on you.
Well, here's the use case for you, Pete, because I go diving a lot.
Perfect.
So it's a pain in the ass to deal with a key that is a proximity key as well when you're going diving. So if I could go diving and then come back to the car and just go, whoop, here we go.
I mean, to answer Andy's question, you could probably open the car with just your Apple Watch. So if you had your watch on you, that would be sufficient.
Except there's no app yet.
Yeah.
Tesla haven't done an app for the watch. Pete.
Yeah, so whilst you can use the app on your watch to open your car, it can't actually be a key, apparently.
Well,
You know,
I
it
know
can't-
that.
it-
I know that Stats app definitely has a Apple Watch app,
Mm.
so you can
And this is
definitely.
waterproof to 50 meters, so yeah, that would work.
If you get stats and you give them your credentials to log into your account,
Yeah.
or a token possibly if they can do that, because there definitely is a way of getting a token with your credentials so that there's no password or username. It's just this token that the app makers use to log on to Tesla's API to talk to your car.
And am I right in assuming it's a one-time token as well?
No, I think it's reusable.
Right.
But I think you can somehow revoke it. So if you want to stop, I think if you get another token, if you regenerate it, it then makes the old one, it renders the old one useless.
Alternatively, you could just change your password, I suppose, and that would do this, have the same effect.
Yeah, and I guess
So guys,
theory is they could log on to your Tesla account, like on a browser, and look at what cars you have or other things, like in theory. But I don't think they can get any other information. They can't get your credit card number because, you know, most websites are fairly neat as far as they'll only show the last 3 digits or whatever. But yeah, it's whatever comfort level people have for security versus convenience.
So somebody posted a good comment that I thought had some validity to it, and that was that you know, good rule of thumb is that if you have to pay for an app, then there's a good chance that there's more security involved with it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, true.
I'd agree with that too.
That's right, because the app, well, the people selling the app are going to run out of income stream very quickly if they're ever caught doing anything nefarious.
Absolutely.
Whereas if it's a free app, then you are the product. So you're either being spammed with, you know, ads, or very rarely are there altruistic app makers that have something for free and no ads. Cool. So is there anything else that anyone can think of? We're getting a little bit later, so we you know, it's a good time to sort of wrap things up gently, or actually, Andy, anything else that any other questions?
Well, somebody told me you went till midnight last week, right?
No, we didn't go to midnight. Oh no, I think we were close.
I think it was about 10 to.
Just taunting with the cyber. Is that your reservation?
It is. It is indeed.
Did you just make it, or you had it for a little while?
No, I did it on Friday. So
nice.
Yes.
Excellent.
Which model, Jared?
Top of the range.
Yeah.
Try once.
Oh, try motor.
Practicing the crying.
Any idea what number in the list you are, Jared?
You'd be close to 1 million, I'd say.
Yeah, they did say a couple of thousand in Perth already, but they couldn't give me an exact number. And I was thinking, well, that's
Who's they?
just one of the guys that worked there that didn't know where the USB port was on the car. So, you know, whatever he says, I'm sure is 100% accurate. But yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of orders in Perth already, but I wasn't sure thousands of orders. I'd be a bit surprised.
Worldwide, there are
worldwide,
1 million or over 1
definitely
million.
off the rails. But in Perth, just Perth alone, I wouldn't imagine there'd be that many orders just yet. People are still.
If there were 2,000, that would peg Australia at 20,000.
Yeah.
And that's not implausible.
No, definitely not.
I
don't think they're not marketing it yet. So I don't think a lot of people are onto it just yet. So
Not only are they not marketing it, they're actually hiding it on the website. So
they did a little bit of marketing with her in New York for a week, sitting in the main lobby of one of the hotels in New York, and so they start.
They also broke a window, which was a way of marketing.
Yeah. Oh, that vehicle, you know, that's going to be it's going to replace my Sahara.
Oh yes, and then some.
And then some, yeah.
Well,
that 7-ton towing capacity, that's just out of control.
Yeah, one of my brothers was having a go at me for buying a Tesla, and he was like, "Oh, you don't want to tow anything, you know, they can't tow anything." And I said, "Oh, you want to bet?" And sent him the specs for the Cybertruck, and he said, "Shit, I need to buy a bigger boat."
Yeah, well, that's it.
You know, you could also send him that video where the Cybertruck is pulling the F-150, and it's, by the way, that's only the dual motor, and
Uphill.
And apparently the Cybertruck's going uphill a little bit too.
You know, it always gives me the shits when people talk about, oh, electric can't tow. Is there anyone at work? I say, right, do you want to come outside this building and look at these 4 hybrids here that are towing 33,000 tons?
Yeah, the locos. Yeah, they're all electric.
Yeah,
it's all AC induction, electric motors.
Yeah,
the diesel's just there to provide the power.
Yeah, it's just Scotty having his go.
People not knowing, I guess.
He does do marketing.
I can't wait for it. I really can't. I just, I know that it's going to be at least a couple of years, but if they ring me,
gents,
3 years.
My countdown is getting really quite short now, so I'm getting really quite excited. Any last minute tips on things I want to look at? There was a couple that come up earlier, like check the 10 amp plug, 15 amp plug, make sure I got both, because I would hate to get home and only have a 15 amp plug. That would really, really suck. Any
just quietly, and if it was an emergency, you could just file down the 15 amp.
I may have been known to have done such a thing in the past. Yes.
No, you wouldn't have. That was just hypothetical, because we are on YouTube.
Oh,
shout out to energy.
It wasn't with my Tesla. That was many, many, many years ago when I didn't know anything about these things. Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of people talking about panel gaps and all kinds of stuff. But
have a good look at the rims. Have a good look at the rims. Make sure there's no scratches on the rims.
Yep.
Have a good walk around the car. Definitely have a look for the scratches.
And if anyone asks you to sign anything, or if they ask you if you're happy, with the car, just say, "Look, I'm a bit too excited now. Just I'll sleep on it. I'll let you know tomorrow." And that way,
You got 1,000.
One of the things
1,000 Ks or something, Richard? Is that right? Harold, how are you?
That sounds right. 1,000 K.
1,000 K warranty
to bring up any delivery faults.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't bought a car in 4 years, so I don't know.
I didn't know that until I heard it on Sunday, that I got 1,000 kilometers to let them know if there's an issue or.
Yep.
We've had no issues except for the fact that one of the reverse lights doesn't work.
One of the things I tend to do for work. Sorry, one of the things I tend to do for work is I tend to take lots of photos of things.
Yeah.
So what I was kind of planning was that I would rock up and just say, "Look, dude, I'm, as you say, Pete, I'm way too excited. I'm just going to take a shit ton of photos and go all around the car, take a heap of photos, open all the doors, open the boots, walk around, take a heap of photos. Now I've got a date stamp. I've got a photo. Hopefully it's in focus and clear enough. And then just leave it at that. But is that, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird doing that.
If you don't feel okay doing it, just take delivery of it, but just don't sign anything. Just say, "I'll let you know tomorrow," and that way you can do all that at home, or you can do it in the car park down the road.
But
there's nothing. We didn't have to sign anything. When I picked up the car, there was nothing to sign. There's no
I had to sign because they did the delivery.
Yeah, on the truck. Yeah.
Yeah, they emailed me a document to sign, and they wanted me to sign it right there and then. And I said, no, I'll do it tomorrow, and they were okay with that.
Yeah. But picking up the car from Osborne Park now, there's nothing to sign. It's
okay.
They just send you a
Jared,
text.
we definitely signed something. We signed an iPad.
Right.
Just
I didn't sign an iPad.
3 days ago.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
sign an iPad.
That sounds pretty. That sounds what I would expect, Andy. I'm fully expecting I have to rock up and sign something that transfers ownership from them to me, and it's now my responsibility. And if I drive out onto whatever that road is, Main Street or whatever, and collect a truck, it's my problem, not theirs.
Yeah. This was just 4 days ago. We had to sign an iPad screen
I didn't sign
to take
anything.
delivery.
Yeah, right.
Okay. How long ago was yours, Jared?
I picked it up on Friday last week.
Yeah, as of Saturday.
The
Strange.
same day as
Are you sure you just weren't too excited?
No, I wasn't excited. I was only there for 4 minutes. It was actually
You just signed anything. You're anyone's.
My plates, so I was waiting for number plates. So I was probably there 15 minutes.
Oh, are you sure you just didn't like put your paw print on it?
No, I never signed anything. No, there was lots of texts beforehand, the day before, saying make sure you've got the latest app, load up the latest app, make sure all that sort of things, but nothing. Didn't sign
Yeah,
anything.
maybe they forgot or something. Maybe they were just just. But on
Maybe it's not
Saturday
your
we
car,
were all
René.
signing iPads.
I felt sorry for the couple that Pete, you mentioned their names before, the ones that got the rings.
Richard and Lindsay.
Lindsay, that's it, Richard and Lindsay. They I saw them on Sunday and they were already up to 800 and something kilometers in 3 days.
Yeah, because Richard's a great partner in that he drives his wife from Mandurah to
Midland.
Perth and return like twice a day. Like he'll drop her off, go back home in the afternoon, pick her up.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you do for Tesla.
I think I might be doing something similar on Saturday.
Excellent.
Yes.
Now, back to the Cybertruck and much more important things. This was the test they did.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, as an engineer, I can tell you that the reason for that is got nothing to do with power.
No, it's traction, and it's the fact that it was a two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
F truck. That's right.
But there have been other YouTube guys that have tried to replicate that with the Model X, and even the Model X does it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely.
I think they'll do it again with the Lightning.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Then it would all come down to the mass of the vehicles.
Oh, Andy, you picked up your car on Saturday, didn't you?
Saturday morning, yeah.
Yeah. Did you post something about mother and child are doing fine now?
I did. That was me, yeah.
Well
Apologies
done,
for
mate.
that joke.
My wife couldn't stop laughing when she saw that post. That was very clever. Very clever. That's very clever.
Cool.
Dear.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
must
can see,
admit-
Andy, that it's 10:56 to your left.
There you go. I'm
Yeah,
keeping you
and-
guys, keeping your YouTube channel honest.
That's right. And well, actually, at this point, it's probably a good time to give a shout out to those who watch on YouTube, such as Damon, Ashley, Joseph, Hosni Mubarak. I still don't know who you are, so feel free to send me an email and say, hey, I'm Hosni Mubarak or whatever, and others that watch. Yeah, I don't know. Unless we've got anything last minute, it might be a good time to wrap up. What do you reckon, fellas?
Yeah, definitely.
And lady?
I think so indeed. I just wanted to say thank you very much to you, Harold, and to the rest of the committee for organising all of this stuff. I missed John, unfortunately, earlier. I wanted to give him a big shout out for everything he's done for EVs in this state for a
He'll
very
be
long
back next
time.
week, so you can do that then. Yeah, he's an awesome bloke.
Yeah,
truly is.
Yeah, I know John through other means, but yeah, he definitely deserves a big shout out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I did have a few questions tonight, but I'll park them. Maybe I'll send them in an email. Maybe I'll wait for next week.
Or just
It'll be all good.
Just give me a ring, Shane, because
no, they're not that important questions, mate. They're just random questions, more interest's sake.
Well, we'll give you a quickie now, and then we'll call it a night.
No, let's call it a night.
All right.
Otherwise, it'll be midnight. Let's call it a night. I'm done with midnight sessions. I'm good.
Hopefully, Richard Cooper will be on next week, and he can go through a tutorial of accessorizing your vehicle, which he showed me some great stuff on Sunday.
Oh, he's the accessories.
One of my questions is to do with accessories, so let's just park that.
I reckon we should have a live special, where Richard Cooper installs a tow bar. He installs the MCU swivel, the screen swivel kit live.
Yep. And the opening of the trunk, the front trunk, off his he did that off his phone or no, his watch. I think he did that. Siri opened the front trunk.
Yes.
And closed it.
So he could do a triple: the front trunk,
yeah,
the boot, the bonnet,
yep,
the towing,
yep.
Yep.
And the monitor moving.
And the monitor moving.
And the tray, he's got a new tray drop in. It's for the center console, which is very, very nifty. So
alrighty, on that note, well, we will park that and do that at a later episode. Thank you everyone for participating. It's been an awesome evening as usual. And great to see Richard's pussy on screen. Very good. Everyone take care of yourselves. Again, shout out for everyone in YouTube land, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as Nigel, who has left us, would say, join Patreon. We'd love that. And have an awesome week. Enjoy the Model S Plaid live stream about 10 a.m., 10 to noon on Friday. In the meantime,
I won't be watching that. I'll be collecting my new car.
Oh, well, yes. And Shane, have an awesome time getting your car. You deserve it. And it's going to be awesome. Have a great week. And we'll see you next week. Have a great time, everyone. Take care.
You guys.
Yeah.
Bye.